Hello. Welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. If you want more content, you can follow me on Patreon. I will be uploading more content on there that will be exclusive. The link is in the description. Please support me. 10 SW. 226 Charlotte's family waiting for battle. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Of course, what they don't know is that not long ago, Big Mom received another news, that is, Kaido and all his members of the Beast's Pirates were lured to Foz Island by Bai Ye's design, and then detonated the power of Terror Rock, blow them all to death. That's why Big Mom was so scared when she heard that Bai Ye was coming towards Cake Island. Because she believed that Bai Ye came to settle accounts with her. Both Kaido and the Beast's Pirates were annihilated by Bai Ye. She doesn't think she can be stronger than Kaido, and the Big Mom Pirates are not necessarily stronger than the recently expanding Beast's Pirates. If Bai Ye really came to settle accounts with her, it would definitely be an unprecedented disaster for her and the entire Charlotte family. Baron Dandan, hurry up, send an order to call my children, 923, and all personnel from the nearby islands, and hurry to the Cake Castle to meet up. Everyone in the Cake Castle, listen to my orders and be on first level alert. In order to avoid the tragic death like Kaido, the ant hurriedly ordered. Soon, under the order of Baron Dandan, the children of the ant stationed on the nearby island and all the personnel arrived at the round of the Cake Castle. The huge Cake Castle was almost overcrowded at the moment, tens of thousands of people were stuffed in at once. Big Mom is even more protected by her children and a group of powerful pirates. Everyone is ready to guard against Bai Ye breaking into the Cake Castle. With such strict security, let alone a person, even a mosquito would have difficulty flying into the Cake Castle. However, even if the Cake Castle is not small, it is not a joke to cram tens of thousands of people at once. Advertisement. Especially among the members of the Big Mom Pirates, there are all kinds of strange species, such as long-legged, long-handed, sub-titan, titan, etc., each of which is bigger than the other. So the Cake Castle at this moment can only be described in one word, hot. Of course, there is still congestion. Finally, even among the ants' children, some couldn't help complaining. It's hot. It's so hot. There's no way for us to wait like this, right? That Bai Ye you mentioned, will he definitely come? The person who spoke was a girl who seemed to be powerless. She had lovely bangs and an innocent face. I felt pity for her. But you can't look at the surface when you look at people. That's right, she is the 35th daughter of the Charlotte family, a scheming three-eyed girl, Charlotte Pudding. Pudding, keep your voice down. Since Mom is so vigilant, it proves that Mom is absolutely sure that this so-called strongest demon of the new era, Bai Ye, will definitely come. The second eldest Kaji of the Charlotte family, that is, Charlotte Katakuri, couldn't help but reminded. He didn't want Pudding's words to be heard by his mother and annoyed his mother. Oh, that's right. After all, Katakuri and Smoothie are the top 3 dessert generals. Well, let me take this opportunity to defeat Bai Ye, so that I can replace the two of you. 1. Become one of the 3 stars of dessert. Charlotte Owen, who is a user with 2.3 abilities of hot fruit, immediately opened the mouth and said. Pudding was almost not offended by his cold-blooded and heartless sister. Like Katakuri, Charlotte Smoothie, who is one of the 3 dessert generals, snorted coldly. Of course, he did this not for the overall situation, but only for his own self-interest. Advertisement. 2. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. The eldest daughter of the Charlotte family, Minister of Fruits, Charlotte Compote said. Why are you arguing? Now I'm on guard against Bai Ye, the lightest enemy that the Big Mom Pirates have ever encountered. Bai Ye hasn't come yet, but you guys started arguing first, what a shame. That's right, once you're here, don't go back. Isn't he known as Bai Ye, the strongest demon in the new era? Others will be afraid of him, but we are not. As for the others, wait and die. Bai Ye, you dare to break into Cake Island, the headquarters of our Big Mom Pirates, don't go back once you come. After all, as one of the 3 dessert generals, her strength is probably only stronger than Katakuri's. I said, each of you should say a word less. Since my mother has summoned us all, it means that Bai Ye will definitely come, and we will be ready. Huh, isn't it just a Bai Ye? It is necessary to mobilize so many teachers, my wife alone can be worth a teacher, Bai Ye lousy can be cleaned up by 10 people. This is the real sister. She is really touched. Now, the children of the Charlotte family are united, and their only thought is to kill Bai Ye, who dared to come to their territory Fanguo to make trouble. When the ant received the report from the spies, her mood was mixed. Parosparrow's yin and yang had a strange air, and he didn't look like a big brother at all. Smoogie, what did you say? Advertisement. What? Bai Ye has passed through all nations and left. Cut. HMPH, Katakuri, why do you remind this weak 3-eyed girl? The Charlotte family doesn't need weak people, just let her be eaten as a snack by mother, that's fine. When others say such arrogant words, they may attract disdain, but when Smoothie, one of the 3 dessert generals, said this, not many people dared to refute. After waiting for several hours, Bai Ye still did not show up. Especially the ability to squeeze people into juice at any time with one hand made many brothers and sisters terrified. As a big sister, although she is indifferent to her brothers and sisters, she is very loyal to her aunt, her family and Wanguo. Charlotte Daifuku, who has the ability to transpire fruits, also spoke. Charlotte Perospero, the eldest son of the Charlotte family, became angry and couldn't help but reprimanded him. In this regard, Katakuri did not respond. 0. It has to be said that Big Sister Compote successfully shifted everyone's blame to Bai Ye. Smoothie shook hands and snorted coldly. But obviously, because of the blockade by the world government and the fact that Big Mom hasn't released the information she received earlier, they still don't know the fact that the Beast's pirates have been wiped out by Bai Ye. However, he didn't think about it. Charlotte Cracker, who was originally the 3-star of the sky, was killed by Bai Ye for nearly a year. The ant did not let him replace Cracker and become the new dessert 3-star, wearing something. It is worth mentioning that Ka-er is also one of the hundreds of children in the Charlotte family who really cares about his brothers and sisters. 227 Kuraigana Island, Hawkeye's retreat. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Fortunately, after all, there is no need to face this terrifying demon Bai Ye unprepared. There is also unwillingness, of course, more anger. Damn Bai Ye, how dare you play tricks on me? Big Mom growled. What is this? These few hours, is waiting for nothing. The hateful Bai Ye ran to Wanguo, made a lot of havoc, and then left. Is it tolerable or unbearable? The hot and sweaty members of the Charlotte family, who were waiting in full battle, couldn't help but look at each other when they heard this. Damn, sure enough, they have been waiting for nothing for a few hours. The other side. After Bai Ye borrowed from Wanguo, he soon came to the Kuraigana area where Zoro practiced. Kuraigana Island is a small and uninhabited island. Everyone must be very unfamiliar with the name of Kuraigana Island. However, if a person is mentioned, everyone must be familiar with it. That is, Dracul Mahawk, Hawkeye. That's right, this Kuraigana Island is the place where Hawkeye Dracul lived in seclusion for 30 years. There are hardly any buildings on the island except for a castle where Hawkeye lives. Because of this, Bai Ye and Robin soon found the castle where Hawkeye lived. Advertisement. On the way, the two were attacked by a group of baboons armed with sticks. There is no doubt that these baboons are the so-called human imitators. In the original book, Hawkeye agrees to Zoro's request to guide him in swordsmanship. The first condition is to let Zoro kill all the human imitators on the island. But at this moment, there are still human imitators on the island, which makes Bai Ye a little puzzled. Could it be that Zoro was not sent here by Bartholomew Kuma? But now that everyone is here, Bai Ye plans to see the so-called world's #1 swordsman, Hawkeye, and it doesn't matter. Maybe, you can also compete with him in swordsmanship. Thinking of this, Bai Ye didn't mind helping Zoro clean up all the human imitators on the island. As soon as Bai Ye thought, Robin didn't even have time to make a move, and all the baboons blocking the way fell down. Even Robin couldn't help being stunned seeing Bai Ye's move. Of course, she still understands the principle. That is, Bai Ye used his incomparably domineering conqueror's haki combined with his ability to control air currents to instantly eliminate the baboons in front of him. But the principle is the principle. It is conceivable how surprised Robin was when he saw this scene with his own eyes. Of course, Robin looked very calm on the surface. It has to be said that after staying with Bai Ye for a year, her Xingxing cultivation has reached a very high level. Kuraigana Castle, at the tower. Hawkeye and Zoro looked down at the scene in front of them, both of them were taken aback. What happened? Back to the topic. Advertisement. Hearing what Zoro said, Hawkeye nodded silently. It is estimated that Hawkeye and Zoro themselves never imagined that these human imitators, who had been trained for a year, were wiped out immediately after they were put into use. Hawkeye deserves to be Hawkeye, and soon, he judged through various signs that it was Bai Ye who used the Conqueror's haki, combined with a certain ability, to kill all human imitators in a single thought. After all, he knows very well that demons hold grudges very much. Certainly. But fortunately, at this moment, the sharp-eyed Zoro discovered that the woman next to Bai Ye was very familiar to him, and after careful identification, he soon recognized that it was one of his few friends. 1. Robo. Hawkeye listened to Zoro's suggestion and raised the remaining human imitators in captivity. After training, they became the first line of defense of Kuraigana Island. It is worth mentioning here that the reason why there are human imitators on Kuraigana Island is because Zoro was moved with compassion when he cleaned up the human imitators. However, he had no choice but to show up for the summit war, but he was paddling the whole time. From Kaido leading people to attack the Whitebeard pirate group to his sudden death, it took only 3 days to reach 700. Hawkeye is very sure of this. Therefore, there was a scene where Bai Ye was attacked by human imitators as soon as he came to Kuraigana Island. Since Bai Ye is more likely to bring Robin to find Zoro, then there is no need for him to face the enemy. After all, Kuraigana Island is so big, there are only 2 of them, no, 3 of them, and I almost forgot that there is Perona who eats and drinks. Zoro, are you sure the woman following Bai Ye is Robin from your Straw Hat Pirates? Zoro was absolutely sure. Hawkeye felt that if those who come are not kind, those who come will not come. Could it be that he accidentally offended Bai Ye during the Summit War, so Bai Ye came to him to settle the score? Thinking of Bai Ye, it is very likely that he really came to settle accounts with him. How could Hawkeye's mood get better? Advertisement. After pondering for a while, his eyes made a decision. So he suggested to Hawkeye that perhaps the remaining human imitators could be kept in captivity. Why, Bai Ye, the devil, would come to his secluded island of Kuraigana. For a powerful person like Bai Ye, if you can make friends, don't make enemies. Why did all the human imitators they kept in captivity collapse and die suddenly in just a moment? Is this the so-called mind killing? He is indeed a road idiot, but that doesn't mean he is a face idiot. What's more, it is his most important companion. To put it an exaggeration, even if it is turned into ashes, he can recognize it. It seems that Bai Ye didn't come to settle accounts with him. With only the three of them, there is no way to take care of the entire Kuraigana island. Once an intruder broke into Kuraigana island, they didn't even have a front line. However, thinking about this, Hawkeye's heart became even heavier. Hawkeye was still a little unsure. In this way, their year's work was not in vain. How did he know where the Kuraigana island was? After all, he didn't blame him, or the Whitebeard Pirates. Therefore, there is no such thing as settling accounts. Fortunately, human imitators are wild and difficult to train, and staying on the island will be a disaster after all, so if they are killed, they will be killed. Anyway, Hawkeye asked Zoro to kill them all. But Hawkeye wasn't sure if this reason could evade Bai Ye. In that case, let's meet Bai Ye and your companion Robin. 228 In order to become strong, the price must be paid. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In this world, one more friend is better than one more enemy, isn't it? Okay. Zoro nodded, agreeing to Hawkeye's suggestion. So, when Bai Ye came to the castle with Robin, Hawkeye had already brought Zoro, waiting for their arrival in front of the gate. Bai Ye, I didn't expect you to come to my eagle-eyed territory. Of course, the visitor is a guest. Hawkeye said yes. Wrong. However, before Hawkeye finished speaking, he was interrupted by Bai Ye. What's wrong? Hawkeye was stunned upon hearing this. Could it be that he really didn't bring Robin to find Zoro, but came to settle accounts with him? The eagle-eyed hand involuntarily touched the black knife Yi on his back, beware of any unusual actions by day and night. But it turns out that Hawkeye was too cautious. No, there should be three of you, why is there one less? Bai Ye continued to speak. Hawkeye was speechless. In other words, in the castle, Perona is completely a messy guy, and he often forgets her existence. Unexpectedly, Bai Ye was as careful as a needle, and even noticed that there was one person missing. That guy, he must have eaten and drank enough to sleep. Zoro, the straight man of steel, speaks truth. Achu, who's talking about me? You're just sleeping, and your whole family is sleeping. Advertisement. Before the words were finished, a girl in Lolita clothes and holding a small floral umbrella floated out of the castle in broad daylight. It was Princess Mononoke, Perona. Hearing Perona's tone, Bai Ye couldn't help thinking of Granu. If the two are together, it is a perfect match. Zoro, stay safe. In the end, Robin, who was still excited, turned the matter back to the topic. She came this time just to meet Zoro. Robin, I heard the news not long ago that you and Bai Ye are together, but I didn't expect the news to be true. By the way, how did you and Bai Ye get together? Zoro was very excited when he saw Robin, and he couldn't even speak out of his head. The so-called speaker has no intention of the listener. Zoro was simply asking how Robin came to be by Bai Ye's side. But in Robin's ears, it doesn't mean that at all. She thought that Zoro already knew that she had a close relationship with Bai Ye, and her pretty face flushed immediately. After all, together, has different meanings in different contexts. Obviously, Robin understood it as another meaning. I have to say that Robin is worthy of being a great beauty. After blushing, she is even more beautiful. She is so beautiful and beautiful. Even Perona couldn't help but stare dumbfounded, and was almost bent. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Seeing Robin's pretty face flushed, Zoro, who has always been upright and doesn't think too much, was suddenly full of doubts. When Robin saw this, he realized that he had misunderstood it. Immediately, she quickly narrated any meeting with Bai Ye, and the experience of the two adventures together in the end. I see. When Zoro heard this, he didn't suspect him at all. You're Zoro, right? Luffy asked me to say hello for him and bring you something. Advertisement. Bai Ye finally had a chance to interject. As he spoke, he handed over to Zoro what Luffy entrusted him to bring to Zoro. What did Luffy bring me? Hearing that Luffy brought something to him, Zoro couldn't help feeling joy and excitement after a little hesitation. Taking the heavy one, Zoro opened it with gratitude. Curious, Bai Ye couldn't help taking a sneak peek, wanting to see what kind of good thing Luffy entrusted him to bring to Zoro. Although Luffy himself has no treasures, it is hard to guarantee Garp and Sengoku. What treasures do they have? Feelings, you entrusted me to travel thousands of miles, and the things you handed over to Zoro turned out to be a bunch of wild fruits that can only be used to feed the hunger and have no other effects. Good guy. During dinner, Robin couldn't resist asking her one question that concerned her most. Hawkeye naturally ignored it, and was just an elegant gentleman drinking the high-end red wine in his hand. Just when Zoro was hesitating, Bai Ye spoke. Hawkeye entertained Bai Ye and Robin with good red wine and food. Lie, but Robin is his companion again. He really can't lie to his companions, especially Robin. Tell Robin the truth, it's a secret. That. Playing cards out of the ordinary. According to a description given in the official comics, a colleague who loses his left eye gains strength. Bai Ye has some speculations of his own. Zoro couldn't help but look at Nuoma's Hawkeye when he heard that. Robin was just as curious. Robin also understood Zoro's thoughts and couldn't help smiling. Advertisement. After all, both of them are veterans of Marine. They have stayed in the headquarters of Marine for so many years, and they have not kept any good goods. Who will believe it? As a result, I didn't know if I didn't look at it, but I was shocked when I saw it. Speaking of this, Robin didn't go on. But soon, he was relieved and even laughed out loud. But obviously, this is another pit buried by Oda. I saw that inside the package, it turned out to be a bunch of wild fruits. Hawkeye doesn't care what Luffy will bring to Zoro, as long as Bai Ye is not an enemy, he is willing to treat Bai Ye well as his master. Because she is not sure whether Zoro, who has a scar on his left eye, is really blind or fake blind. Not only Zoro and Robin were dumbfounded, but even Bai Ye was dumbfounded. In this way, a group of people entered the castle. This is how their captain Luffy behaves. Zoro was also confused at first, but he didn't expect that what Luffy entrusted to Tang Bai Ye to bring to him turned out to be a bunch of wild fruits. Otherwise, if it takes at least a week or two to get here by boat at the speed of a normal boat, wouldn't these wild fruits be dried up? It just so happened that it was time for dinner, so everyone gathered around the long western dining table and had dinner. Backquote, since they are all here, don't stand outside and blow the air, come and sit in the castle. Quote. That's the price you have to pay in order to become strong. In fact, he didn't know how Zoro's left eye was injured. Everything is Oda's fault, after all, there is no mention of nephew in the manga. Zoro didn't know how to answer Robin's question for a moment. Bai Ye said lightly. Fortunately, he and Robin walked against the wind and traveled extremely fast. It took less than half a day to travel from the isolated island where Luffy practiced to Kuraigana Island. Zoro, what happened this year, why your left eye? 229 The showdown between Bai Ye and Hawkeye. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. According to Bai Ye's speculation, Zoro's sealed left eye, sealed is more accurate than blindness, will definitely be the key to Zoro's becoming stronger in the later stage. After all, the golden pupil of the eagle eye, if there is no secret, Bai Ye will not believe it. That being the case, it is still unknown whether Zoro, who practiced under the guidance of Hawkeye, could inherit some kind of pupil power. Of course, these are just speculations. Hearing this, Zoro couldn't help but cast a grateful look at Bai Ye. Why didn't he think of such a tactful answer? Robin is an intellectual woman. Hearing the words, she naturally knew that some things should not be pursued to the bottom. Immediately, she did not dwell on this issue. Everyone can say that this dinner was very enjoyable. Because after dinner, it was late at night, as the host, Hawkeye, very politely invited Bai Ye and Robin to spend the night in the castle. Bai Ye naturally did not refuse. While Robin and Zoro were chatting about their experiences this year, Bai Ye was not idle, and chatted with Hawkeye about swordsmanship. Hawkeye is indeed the world's #1 swordsman, and his understanding of kendo is 65% unique to anyone Bai Ye has ever met. Even Foil Vista, who is called a kendo wizard by Hawkeye, is far inferior to Hawkeye in terms of kendo. This is probably the difference between the two. Foil Vista is indeed accomplished in kendo, and he is the #1 member of the Whitebeard Pirates, but after all, he is still not as good as the world's #1 swordsman, Hawkeye. Regarding kendo, maybe Hawkeye wants to make friends with Bai Ye, he knows everything. Just a few words, let Bai Ye benefit a lot. Although Bai Ye had no intention of becoming a swordsman, after hearing what Hawkeye said, he couldn't help but yearn for the way of swordsmanship. Perhaps this is the charm of kendo. No wonder, there are so many people in this world, except for a few people with fruit abilities, the way for most people to become stronger is to become a swordsman. Because the way of the sword is indeed an extremely powerful existence in the world of pirates. Advertisement. Brother Hawkeye, I never expected that your insights into the way of swordsmanship are so unique. Come, let me offer you a toast. Having a good chat, coupled with the red wine that Hawkeye has collected for many years, it is really intoxicating. Bai Ye became a little casual when speaking. Clam, Hawkeye, dude, Perona, who was spitting and gorging, almost couldn't burst out laughing when she heard this. Ha 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 ha, who would have thought that Hawkeye, the world's #1 swordsman who has always been aloof, admired by countless swordsmen, and even regarded as the ultimate goal of life, would be made a younger brother by a man 20 years younger than him. If the person who said this was not Bai Ye, Perona even felt that the person who said this was dead. Laugh if you want, but can you please turn your head the other way, I don't want to be sprayed all over by you. Hawkeye said indifferently to Perona, who was already unable to hold back. He was really worried that he would be sprayed in the face by Perona, and then his aloof fan would be wiped out. As for being called a younger brother by Bai Ye, to be honest, Hawkeye also really minded. In terms of age, if we want to call each other brothers, how can I say that you are the older brother? Hawkeye said in a gentle manner, perfectly showing his demeanor as a gentleman. Don't worry about such little details, brother Hawkeye. Bai Ye patted Hawkeye on the shoulder and said. Hawkeye was speechless. Seeing the majestic world's #1 swordsman Hawkeye's expression of lovelessness, Bai Ye stopped teasing him. Just kidding. But Hawkeye, I recognize you as a friend. Bai Ye patted Hawkeye on the shoulder again and said. Hawkeye's expression, this is much better. PFF'd. Ha 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 ha, old Hawkeye. Advertisement. After all, Perona couldn't hold back and burst out laughing. Doffa, immediately, a mouthful of things splashed out. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 figures flashed by. FK, Perona, you idiot. Therefore, Perona's mouthful of food was naturally sprayed all over Zoro's body. Bai Ye also has his own plans. Just in time, he can take advantage of the opportunity of this journey to practice hard and compete with the big masters. The simple communication is over. Of course it's not that simple. However, when these words came out of Bai Ye's mouth, Hawkeye didn't say anything. Seeing this, Zoro and Robin followed naturally. For the younger generation, Hawkeye has never been treated like this before. He was not the one who said this when he fought against someone younger than him. Go ahead. How could he miss the chance to fight against someone stronger than himself? The confrontation between the 2 peak powerhouses, of course they will not miss it. He directly pulled out the black knife Yi from his back. But alas, everything is doomed. Be careful, this is not an ordinary sword. In the castle, there was only one Perona rolling on the ground laughing. Bai Ye said to Hawkeye very politely. Advertisement. Speaking of Zoro, if he hadn't been too excited to see Robin, he wouldn't have been recruited. After that, the two didn't talk nonsense, and directly launched an unprecedented swordsmanship duel. Now, it is only natural to challenge Hawkeye again. Do you want to go out and compete? This time, Bai Ye wanted to improve his kendo attainments through Hawkeye. Although, he has no plans to become a great swordsman, but he can never go wrong if he learns one more technique. Having said that, Bai Ye promised Robin to take her to find her little friend, just to let them meet. Seeing that the situation was not good, Bai Ye and Hawkeye immediately dodged away. No, Bai Ye has challenged Garp and Sengoku on the isolated island before. Hawkeye reciprocated and reminded Bai Ye. Of course I know this, how many swordsmen in the world don't know about the famous He Dao Yi? However, the proficiency of Dragon Slayer magic is more difficult to improve in the later stage, so it is a very conservative prediction to increase the proficiency of Iron Dragon Slayer magic to 100 in 1 month. Zoro roared. Just fighting against Garp and Sengoku before, Bai Ye discovered that his proficiency in Iron Dragon Slayer magic has improved a lot, and the proficiency has reached 60. So, the two walked out of the castle together and came outside the castle. Fighting against a master is naturally better than burying your head in retreat. The effect is better. That's good. Hawkeye was also very calm. Certainly. Even if such a tragic thing happened, Bai Ye still said very calmly with eagle eyes. 230 Bai Ye vs Hawkeye, a duel on the sword. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Bai Ye didn't have a sword in his hand, but it didn't matter, he directly cast the Iron Dragon Slayer magic, extracting free iron ions in the air to create 2 iron swords. This move of making an iron sword out of thin air really stunned Hawkeye. But considering that Bai Ye is the demon fruit power, Hawkeye just froze for a moment, then came back to his senses. Are you going to have a sword fight with me? Very good. Hawkeye said arrogantly. There are not many people who dare to have a swordsmanship duel with him, let's count. What's more, he also knows that Bai Ye is not even a swordsman in the strict sense. From Summit War, Bai Ye's abilities displayed, he is completely capable. Therefore, Hawkeye felt that if Bai Ye dared to compete with him in swordsmanship, it was simply using his own weaknesses to meet his strengths. In terms of strength, Hawkeye admits that he is indeed no match for Bai Ye, but if it is about swordsmanship, hey, Hawkeye feels that he has to teach Bai Ye a deep lesson this time. No one can beat me in my BGM. Bah, no one can beat me in kendo. This is the strength of Hawkeye's self-confidence. Bai Ye naturally saw the disdain in Hawkeye's eyes, but he didn't think so. Foil and Rose Rondo. As soon as Bai Ye came up, it was Vista's ultimate move. I saw bright red rose petals flying all over the sky, and the whole scene was very poignant and beautiful. But amidst the poignant beauty, there is an extremely sharp sword intent hidden. Even Hawkeye was taken aback when he saw this. Advertisement. Never expected that Bai Ye's attainment in the Tao of Kendo is not low. Of course, Bai Ye once taught Vista, so naturally he also asked Vista for advice on swordsmanship. Although Bai Ye seldom uses swordsmanship, it does not mean that his attainments in the way of swordsmanship are poor. In fact, his attainments in the way of swordsmanship are even comparable to those of Vista. However, even in the face of Bai Ye's sharp sword intent, Hawkeye quickly calmed down after the initial shock. Night sharpness. Hawkeye's eyes turned cold, and the black knife Yi in his hand cut out. For a while, the whole sky went dark. Of course, this is just a kind of sword intent. It's like Zoro, who casts the nine swords style, and appears to be a three-headed and six-armed scene. But even so, it still shocked Zoro, Robin, and even Perona who just walked out of the castle. Is this the world's #1 swordsman? A random knife has such power, a swordsman without talent, I am afraid that it will be difficult to hold a candle to him in his entire life, right? Of course, the most shocking one was Perona. Unexpectedly, in front of her, the guy who has always been gentle and gentle, full of gentlemanly demeanor, turned out to be so powerful when he acted in a real way. Thinking of this, Perona couldn't help feeling scared for a while. Just now, she was still laughing at her. Talking to him before, is also open-mouthed. Fortunately, Hawkeye is a gentleman. If he was a narrow-minded pirate like Moria, wouldn't she have died countless times? The sword she cut out by the eagle eye turned into a huge arc of light, which easily cut through the artistic conception of the rose dance created by Bai Ye, and slashed straight at Bai Ye. When? Sparks. That was Bai Ye resisting the sword energy with the iron sword in his hand, and, after breaking through the sword energy, Bai Ye did not stop there at all. The sword skill was not enough, and the Thunder Dragon Slayer magic came to make up. Advertisement. Under the blessing of Thunder Dragon Slayer magic, Bai Ye turned into a lightning-like light, and rushed in front of Hawkeye in an instant. However, without waiting for Bai Ye to slash, Hawkeye, who reacted extremely quickly, even slashed at Bai Ye first. Bai Ye, you are still a little short in the way of swordsmanship. That's right, just a little bit. While talking, the black knife in Hawkeye's hand, Yi, shines brightly. Before the sword arrived, the unparalleled sword intent swept towards Bai Ye like sea water. Of course, there is nothing to say about Bai Ye's swordsmanship, it is still acceptable. Broken iron sword, so what, as long as there is a heart that never gives up, even the attack of the black knife can be resisted. The iron sword, which was completely broken, is actually being repaired in pieces. Therefore, Hawkeye's knife just now can be said to be going all out. In this way, the iron sword was broken and repaired over and over again. When? Drink. As expected of a gentleman, Hawkeye suggested that Bai Ye could use unexpected moves in swordsmanship. Immediately, the iron sword that showed signs of repair was shattered again, and this time it was more thoroughly broken, almost turning into iron filings. What's more, Hawkeye knew Bai Ye's strength, but he didn't hide his strength. Moreover, Hawkeye is also a sensible person, he knows that Bai Ye will be unhappy if he hides his strength. Hawkeye, you are right. In terms of swordsmanship, I am indeed a little behind you, but I may not lose in this swordsmanship duel. Ahahaha, you are indeed the world's #1 swordsman, Hawkeye, with courage. However, the purpose of my coming here this time is to ask you for advice on the way of swordsmanship. If you beat you with other moves, the victory will be invincible. Quote. Bai Ye lost. This time, it was no longer a collision between sword chi, but a real collision between swords and sword bodies. During the stalemate, Hawkeye suddenly spoke. Advertisement. Hawkeye was dumbfounded, but he wasn't a vegetarian either. However, the iron sword in his hand was no match for the black knife in Hawkeye's hand. However, even so, everything is still not over. With a sharp shout, Hawkeye increased Haidao Yi's power. As Bai Ye's Iron Dragon Slayer magic proficiency continues to improve, his speed of repairing the iron sword is getting faster and faster. Resisting the sword intent penetrating through his body, Bai Ye yelled, and the power of Iron Dragon Slayer magic broke out again. Faced with this situation, Bai Ye is still full of confidence in himself. Bai Ye, you don't need it at all. You are only competing with me in swordsmanship. In terms of swordsmanship, you are not as good as me, but in terms of overall strength, you are definitely stronger than me. He knew all kinds of terrifying devil fruit abilities, possessed by Bai Ye, which are actually dragon-slaying magic, that is to say, he didn't mind Bai Ye using dragon-slaying magic to deal with him. Can it still be like this? The ear-piercing sound of gold and iron colliding sounded, and immediately, the iron sword in Bai Ye's hand was completely shattered, turning into pieces of iron fragments. In this way, the gap between the weapons will be judged. With the advantage of the black knife in his hand, Hawkeye smashed the iron sword in Bai Ye's hand countless times, but he couldn't really break it. Even, several times, the powerful sword energy of the iron sword was directly smashed into iron powder, but it was repaired in a flash. Seeing this, Bai Ye quickly raised his iron sword to block it. Point 0. Of course, the premise is that you have enough strength. 0 for flowers. Of course not. 231 The true way of the sword. The heart is the way of the sword. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Bai Ye said, speeding up the repair speed of the iron sword. When, finally, after a burst of sparks, Bai Ye finally repelled Hawkeye. Of course, in order to dispel Hawkeye's sword energy, he continued to push back a few steps. So far, the two are evenly matched. Hey, interesting. After hearing Bai Ye's words, Hawkeye looked at him even more with admiration. The opponent who can obviously be defeated with a few moves, but insists on fighting him because the opponent is the best at swordsmanship. I'm afraid only Bai Ye can do this kind of thing. And this is also the reason why Bai Ye can become stronger than anyone else. To truly become powerful, the system alone is not enough, you must have a determination. The next sword is not easy, be careful. Hawkeye reminded, and then, he held the black knife, 3, across his chest, obviously trying to use some kind of sword move. Seeing this, Bai Ye couldn't help but concentrate. He really wanted to see what kind of powerful swordsmanship he was going to display when Hawkeye said so solemnly. Only, this time Bai Ye was wrong. One sword style I lion song song. Hawkeye said the name of the sword move, and at the same time, he swept it out. It turned out to be the most basic move in one sword style. What? Bai Ye wondered if he made a mistake. This is the, not simple, sword that Hawkeye said. Is this the move that Hawkeye told him to be careful? Advertisement. Bai Ye found it extremely insulting. However, in the next second, when the sword energy struck, Bai Ye's expression suddenly changed. It can be said that Zoro's signature move is Yidao, Juhei, and Shijej. In the anime, Bai Ye has seen Zoro perform this move countless times. However, the trick Hawkeye used was completely different from Zoro. When Zoro uses this move, it is the most basic move in Yidao style, but in the hands of Hawkeye, it is an extremely subtle and mysterious swordsmanship move. Roar. The sword energy slashed out, and on the way, it turned into a golden lion, roaring with the aura of looking down on the world and shocking the world. Sword Chi Ling ran. The edge is raging. No. Robin and Perona are not swordsmen, so they naturally don't realize that in this most basic sword move, Hawkeye exerts such power, which requires a lot of knowledge and understanding in the way of swordsmanship. But Zoro was different, he was completely immersed in the surprise brought by this move. At least, the one knife style Tang Jin Lion song he cast does not have this power. Even, Zoro involuntarily reminded Bai Ye to be careful. Impossible to resist. Even Zoro's moves are so shocking, it can be seen that Hawkeye has indeed displayed the power of heaven defying the most basic sword moves. But, as expected of Hawkeye, your accomplishments in the Tao of the sword are truly unsurpassed by almost no one in the world today. The boundless sword energy had already swept across. Bai Ye saw this, instead of panicking, he laughed instead. Say it is late, then soon. Bai Ye shot suddenly. One knife evil port bird. At this most critical juncture, Bai Ye actually abandoned the fancy foil, and also used the most basic sword move in the Yidao style, the black bird. Advertisement. Immediately, a dark purple sword aura turned into a crescent-shaped slash, facing the oncoming golden sword aura. Ow. The dark purple sword energy turned into a bird of misfortune, which symbolizes bringing bad luck to pirates. After a haughty cry, it rushed towards the golden lion. A griffin and a vulture, swollen and killed together. How is it possible that he understood so quickly? Hawkeye was shocked when he saw this. He didn't intentionally teach Bai Ye the way of swordsmanship. After all, swordsmanship and sword moves can be taught, but swordsmanship cannot be taught, and one can only slowly comprehend it by oneself. But Hawkeye never expected that Bai Ye would have already understood it after only performing it once. The spirit of Kendo often lies in the simplest and most basic moves, rather than fancy sword moves. Therefore, he also abandoned the fancy sword moves, simplified the complexity, and used the most basic sword moves to fight against Hawkeye. No matter how powerful the sword moves are, they are just icing on the cake. In the end, both fell. Although Bai Ye seldom used swords before, his comprehension ability was naturally not comparable to that of ordinary people. All of a sudden, he understood the reason why Hawkeye was so proficient in Kendo. This sentence can be put another way. Any other sword moves, just use them, Hawkeye. After gaining some understanding in the way of Kendo, he became arrogant, day and night. Next, it was an incomparably exciting real swordsmanship competition. The golden lion and the black bird fight together. A truly powerful sword move is the most basic sword move. Once again, the two are evenly matched in their swordsmanship competition. Adding them to the sword skill by 0.9 will bring out an incomparably powerful power. It was not easy for Hawkeye to meet someone who was evenly matched with him in terms of swordsmanship. At first, he just wanted to fight casually, but now, he was completely excited. Advertisement. All in all, this seems to be contrary to the idea of Kendo being refined and simplified, but it does not violate it. Because this is the effect attached to the sword move, not the sword move itself. Hawkeye was astonished. This is also why other swordsmen have thousands of moves, but the swordsmanship that Hawkeye uses is always only the simplest and most basic slash. Hawkeye felt that everything was fine at first, and the two competed in swordsmanship, evenly matched, but because of the black knife Yi in his hand, he was even better. Roar. Certainly. How is it possible? His swordsmanship is clearly inferior to mine. The heart is the way of the sword. He has already comprehended the essence of what he saw and simplified it. But gradually, Hawkeye realized something was wrong. But so what? Bai Ye did not learn all kinds of dragon-slaying magic for nothing. Because the road is simple. A truly powerful sword move is the determination of the person performing the sword move, and it is the heart. The number of times he smashed the iron sword gradually decreased, but the number of times he was forced back by Bai Ye gradually increased. This is Hawkeye's comprehension on Kendo. 0. Ow. Of course, since there is no such thing as Dao, In this world, Hawkeye simply classifies him as a realm. What Hawkeye said is right. In terms of swordsmanship, Bai Ye is still a little behind him, just a little bit. But it is also a little bit that cannot be surpassed at present. I prove my way with my heart. The iron sword that Bai Ye slashes will burst into flames from time to time, with a burning effect. Sometimes a few electric currents will burst out, triggering a paralyzing effect. Sometimes even a few wind blades will be shot out, with a cutting effect. The further back, the harder it is for Hawkeye. 232 The world's #1 swordsman actually lost. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. But soon, Hawkeye understood. That's because of Bai Ye's terrifying ability to learn and grow. It seemed that less than an hour had passed between the two of them, but in this short hour, Bai Ye's comprehension of kendo became more and more grandmaster. There are many moves that Bai Ye has learned the next second that Eagle has just used them 1 second. Bai Ye's strong learning ability, no, it's heaven-defying, really startled Hawkeye. In this regard, let alone Hawkeye, Day and Night himself was a little surprised. In the past, he didn't have such a strong learning ability, so it seemed that he could learn the moves by just watching them once. But now, it can. In this regard, after a little thought, Bai Ye is sure that this should be related to the second ability he only recently opened, Bloodline Inheritance. After all, adding dead bone pulse to the blood of the Demon King can be said to have changed all the bones and flesh of his body. He was completely reborn. Therefore, if the ability to learn becomes so strong, Bo seems to be justified. This battle lasted for several hours. Finally, at midnight, the two decided the winner in the swordsmanship competition. One knife Evil Port Bird. Bai Ye once again used the trick of Evil Harbor Bird. Immediately, the boundless sword energy turned into a bird of doom, which symbolizes the doom of pirates, and went down towards the eagle's eye. At this moment, Hawkeye, who had been forced to retreat steadily, didn't dare to be careless in the slightest, and quickly unleashed Yidao Lujuhe Shijej. The familiar scene reappeared again. Advertisement. Lions and vultures collide again. No matter how you look at it, the golden lion is better than the black bird, but this time, the situation has changed subtly. Ow. With a name, Egangbird exploded with 5 attributes of fire, thunder, wind, poison, and iron. With the blessing of the 5 attributes, Egangbird tore the golden lion into pieces in one fell swoop. At this point, the outcome is completely determined. Bai Ye's iron sword, without knowing when, had reached Hawkeye's neck. As for Hawkeye, the black knife Yi was halfway raised, but it was obviously too late. I lost. Hawkeye deserves to be the #1 swordsman in the world, admired by the world. He can afford to lose even more if he wins. He simply admits that he has lost. However, he was still a little unwilling. Unexpectedly, he lost to Bai Ye in the swordsmanship that he had exhausted his entire life. No way. The world's #1 swordsman lost. Zoro couldn't believe it when he saw this scene. Even if Hawkeye's opponent is Bai Ye, the strongest demon in the new era, Zoro has always believed that Hawkeye cannot lose to anyone in the swordsmanship competition. Unexpectedly, Hawkeye lost to Bai Ye in the end. Even if he saw it with his own eyes, Zoro, who regarded Hawkeye as the object of his lifelong pursuit and transcendence, still found it difficult to accept this result for a while. Not to mention Zoro, Perona, a layman who has no knowledge of swordsmanship, can't believe it. After all, Hawkeye is hailed as the world's #1 swordsman. To be hailed as the world's #1 swordsman by the world, the swordsmanship must be the world's #1, isn't it? Even for Robin, seeing Bai Ye beat Hawkeye in the swordsmanship competition, he felt extremely inconceivable. Is this the man she's following? Advertisement. As expected of Bai Ye. On the contrary, Bai Ye doesn't think so. He saw Hawkeye with a lonely face, and his wrist turned gorgeously. He put away the black iron in his hand very chicly, and then said, "No, although you lost, you didn't lose completely. You lost in strength, but not in swordsmanship. The reason why I can win you is because I didn't use pure swordsmanship, but also blessed various abilities in swordsmanship. Therefore, I can beat you." Although Bai Ye didn't say it clearly, what he meant was obvious. If it's just a pure swordsmanship competition, Hawkeye is actually better. The world is like this, even if one aspect is the strongest, it may not be the final winner. Whoever can have the last laugh is the final winner. Hawkeye heard the words, but smiled helplessly. What Bai Ye said makes sense. But Bai Ye can apply the ability he has mastered to swordsmanship in a short period of time, so it is not a kind of swordsmanship that breaks the rules. Therefore, in this swordsmanship competition, Bai Ye did not foul. After all, he did defeat Hawkeye with swordsmanship, not directly with Dragon Slayer magic. Bai Ye's last words undoubtedly played the most important role, making Hawkeye admire Yi even more. He finally understands why Bai Ye is so powerful. Not entirely because of his hands, but more because of his pattern. Go back and continue drinking. Without resignation, Hawkeye said openly. Walk. Bai Ye has been hiding the red wine from Hawkeye for more than 10 or 20 years, but he has always been obsessed with it, and naturally he will not miss this rare opportunity. Back to the castle again, because it was already late at night, Robin, Zoro, and Perona naturally returned to their rooms, took a shower, and then went to bed. Advertisement. Only Bai Ye and Hawkeye were not drunk and never returned. They drank in the hall until the next morning. Hawkeye didn't hide his secrets either, and brought out the best red wine to entertain Bai Ye. After collecting the red wine for more than 20 years, I drank it all in one night, but Hawkeye didn't feel bad at all. After all, this is how 1,000 cups are too few to meet a bosom friend. While drinking 873 wine, Bai Ye did not forget to check his current strength and various statistics. He found that he had only experienced 2 battles. Once with Garp, Sengoku, and once with Hawkeye. His strength has improved a lot. In particular, the proficiency of Iron Dragon Slayer magic has risen even more, and it has reached 78 now. Sure enough, competing with the strong is a shortcut to improve strength. The efficiency is far higher than that of closed-door practice. Of course, retreat practice is also beneficial, that is, to be able to concentrate more on overcoming a certain bottleneck. Therefore, practitioners generally choose to retreat and practice when they encounter a bottleneck in their cultivation. But Bai Ye doesn't need this right now. In addition, Bai Ye found that there was an additional experience progress bar on his data template. Obviously, that is the progress bar of bloodline inheritance. Now the progress bar has reached a quarter of the state. I believe that as long as the progress bar slows down, he can learn new bloodline inheritance again. I don't know what the next blood lineage will be. If it's a Super Saiyan lineage, then it's heaven-defying. Bai Ye is full of expectations. The next morning, Zoro and Robin got up one after another, and they were shocked to see Bai Ye and Hawkeye who were still drinking. As a pirate, Zoro naturally drank a lot, and he could even become a senior alcoholic. 233 A new friend joins. Little thieving cat Nami. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. But even he has to admire Bai Ye and Hawkeye. He has seen many people who can drink, but he swears that this is the first time he has seen someone who can drink like the two of them. Bai Ye didn't expect that Hawkeye could drink so well. Of course, it is not known whether he cheated or not, like Duan Yu secretly expelled the wine from his body through sword energy. And, even if it was really possible, Bai Ye didn't mind. He's handing in Hawkeye, not drunkard. By the time Perona, the pampered princess, Princess Mononoke is also a princess, got up, it was already noon. However, Bai Ye and Hawkeye were still drinking. You two are still drinking. Aren't you afraid of drinking to death? Perona expressed concern. But after thinking about it, she felt that something was wrong. No, if the two of you drank to death, wouldn't I just be able to activate the ghost ability and take away your 2 high-quality souls? As long as I have the high-quality souls of you two, wouldn't I, Princess Mononoke, Perona, can you dominate the world? Thinking of this, Perona looked forward to something instead. Of course, she is completely wishful thinking. However, Bai Ye and Hawkeye lost all interest in drinking after being disturbed by Perona. After all, they drank enough. Bai Ye did not continue to stay in Kuraigana Castle, and took Robin on the road again. During the period, Robin asked if Zoro would like to leave with them and go with them to find other partners. Advertisement. Zoro hesitated, but finally refused. After all, his dream is to fulfill Kuina's wish and become the world's #1 swordsman. Staying with Hawkeye, the #1 swordsman in the world, will undoubtedly hone his swordsmanship and comprehend his own way of swordsmanship. Seeing that Zoro has made up his mind, Robin naturally didn't force others to do anything against him. However, Zoro was unwilling to leave Kuraigana Island, but another person expressed his willingness. Yes, she is Princess Mononoke Perona. She stayed on the island and did not learn swordsmanship from Hawkeye. She had been bored for a long time, so she naturally wanted to leave very much. Of course, it's actually because she herself is too embarrassed to continue being a salted fish who eats and drinks. But Bai Ye resolutely refused. Among the members, 1 granulated sugar is enough for him, and 1 more Perona. Wouldn't the days to come be restless? Unexpectedly, her request was rejected by Bai Ye, and Perona was blown up on the spot. But Bai Ye disagreed, and she had no choice but to continue to stay on Kuraigana Island, living with Zoro and Hawkeye. 2 red clouds instantly appeared on Robin's pretty face, and he said coquettishly, "Okay, Bai Ye, I didn't expect you to be such a person." Therefore, under Robin's persuasion, Nami hardly hesitated. Deng even decided to leave Sky Island, followed Robin and Bai Ye, and embarked on a journey to find other friends. Does she mean that, according to Bai Ye's sentimental character, she shouldn't accept such a lovely Perona? Advertisement. There is something in Robin's words. Open black lens bracket peak close black lens bracket appeared in Sabayati Archipelago, just to welcome Bai Ye and Robin. Of course, Robin was very happy that Bai Ye accepted Nami for the money. She was still a little bit worried that Bai Ye would reject Nami just like rejecting Perona from the group. This is about to tear through the clothes. Okay, that's not enough. Bai Ye looked at Nami's big, and naturally agreed without thinking about it. Time flies. Even, the two have gone to a small sky island above the Sabayati Archipelago and found another important partner of the Straw Hat Pirates, Nami the Navigator. Sabayati Archipelago. Nami is the smartest among the Straw Hat Pirates. It is precisely because she is smart enough that she has learned meteorology, geography, oceanography and other related knowledge in only 1 year. Robin thought at first that Bai Ye was referring to age. At the entrance of New World. But soon, when she noticed Bai Ye's malicious rock god, she finally understood. Among them, Doflamingo, who is the young master of the Don Quixote family, naturally wants to stay in Punk Hazard, the new territory of the Don Quixote family, to preside over the overall situation. Regarding Bai Ye's high-sounding reason, Robin just complained in his heart. I believe you, you bastard, you are a bad old man. That's right, this pirate ship is exactly Bai Ye's open black lens bracket peak. I believe that with Nami in the future, the voyage process will be smoother, and you don't have to live a life of drifting with the ocean currents like Bai Ye's first voyage. Advertisement. But it now appears that this worry is entirely Donai's. The one who came to pick up Bai Ye on the peak apart from the Monet sisters, was only Guiju Virgo, and the other Don Quixote family members were assigned other tasks by Bai Ye through the Avatar. Moving the Smile factories to Punk Hazard before they are destroyed by the angry people of Derise Rosa is Doflamingo's top priority. But the air stick was made by Usopp for Nami, the idea of the air stick was even provided by Nami, and the stick technique was also created by Nami himself, so there is no question of asking Sky Island people for advice. All of a sudden, a week passed. Is she too young? Bai Ye knew Robin's scheming, couldn't help teasing her, and deliberately said, it's because she is too young, if she is as old as you, of course I can't bear to refuse. For the next year, if the plot of the original book develops, she should continue to stay on Sky Island to strengthen her stick technique, air stick. Indeed, Perona looked like, at best, a 14 or 15-year-old girl. In other words, there is no need for Nami to stay on Sky Island anymore, she can still practice stick skills wherever she chooses. That's what he said, but Robin didn't refute it, after all, this is his proud capital. Although the Smile factory is a black-hearted factory, it is also an important industry of the Don Quixote family. It was established with great difficulty by Doflamingo, Torrebel and others. 5 days ago, Bai Ye and Robin had arrived at Sabayati archipelago. After leaving Kuraigana Island, Robin thoughtfully asked Bai Ye, how could he have the heart to refuse the request of such a lovely girl as Perona? The figure of a huge and majestic ship appeared in the port of Sabayati archipelago. Of course, Bai Ye didn't bring Nami because she was old enough. It's because, for a navigator like Nami who has rich sailing skills, the sailing group is not vying for it. 234 High Celestial Dragons. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Bai Ye didn't want to just waste it for no reason. Regarding the transfer of the Smile factory, Bai Ye has already talked in detail with Violet, the new queen of Derise Rosa through the Avatar, and Violet, who is devoted to Bai Ye, will naturally not have any objections. The rest of the Don Quixote family are assisting Doflamingo in transferring the Smile factory. Brother Bai Ye, you are indeed here. Bai Ye had just boarded the pinnacle when a loud voice appeared in front of his eyes. From the slightly silly tone, Bai Ye didn't need to think about who else was coming besides Wabel. Indeed, this person is Wabel, but Bai Ye didn't let him come, so what's going on, how could he be on the peak? Seeing this, Virgo hurriedly stepped forward to explain. It turned out that Virgo and the others had received Bai Ye's order, and on their way to Sabayati archipelago, they passed the Whitebeard Pirates' site. Not long ago, Wabel found out that Bai Ye had left again without him, so he was naturally distraught. Coincidentally, knowing that open black lens bracket peak close black lens bracket passed through their territory, they naturally tried their best to catch up with open black lens bracket peak close black lens bracket. Virgo and others on the peak tried to stop him, but no matter what, Wabel is different from the past, he inherited the blood of the Devil King, and his current strength is even stronger than before. Pharynx facing the king, Virgo and others are not his opponents at all. No way, Virgo can only agree to accompany him. Besides, what is the relationship between Wabel and Bai Ye, and I dare not offend him rashly. After hearing Virgo's explanation, Bai Ye didn't say anything. Originally, he stayed Wabel in the Whitebeard Pirates, because he was worried that what happened to the Whitebeard Pirates would happen again. At that time, Wabel, who inherited the blood of the Devil King and was not weaker than Admiral, would be in charge, so he didn't have to worry about the Whitebeard Pirates. How will the group be treated? But now that Wabel has come out, it doesn't matter. Anyway, after the Battle of Foz Island, Bai Ye led the Whitebeard Pirates to destroy the Beast's pirates, which is equivalent to giving all the New World pirates a blow. Advertisement. Believe me, if you give those pirates who are about to move 10 more guts, they will not dare to take action against the Whitebeard Pirates. On the contrary, it is the world government and the marine government, they may attack the Whitebeard Pirates again. But even if they wanted to attack the Whitebeard Pirates, they probably wouldn't dare to do it in an open and honest manner, and they would probably make small moves secretly like last time. After all, in order to maintain the stability of New World, they must not dare to mess around too much. DADG. Now, New World lacks the Beast's pirates, and the original four-legged situation has become a three-legged confrontation. If at this time, the world government and the marine government rashly take action against the Whitebeard Pirates, the consequences may be unimaginable. New World will definitely be in chaos because of this. This is the last thing the world government and the marine government want to see. Next, Bai Ye, Robin and Nami, the friends of the Straw Hat Pirates who are going to find, are distributed in various places in the first half of the Grand Line. Because the distance is far away, it is naturally more convenient to take the Pinnacle. Originally, if Pinnacle left Sabayati Archipelago so smoothly, nothing would happen. However, the sky fails to fulfill the wishes of people. Just when the open black lens bracket peak close black lens bracket was leaving the port of Sabayati Archipelago, a huge and luxurious cruise ship happened to dock. The cruise ship hadn't docked yet, and it immediately caused a commotion at the port. Countless ships, no matter if they were regular merchant ships, irregular pirate ships, or even warships, all avoided them one after another. Seeing this battle, people with little knowledge, such as Satang and Wabel, naturally felt very novel. What the hell happened? Why even the marine warships have to avoid this ship? Advertisement. But for other well-informed people, such as Monet, Robin and others, they frowned. His men wanted to answer him this question, but it was clear they didn't know. Lengtaching can't survive in the cruel sea at all. Damn it, which pirate group is that? How could someone not choose to avoid such a thing? After listening to Robin's words, Granos and Wabel suddenly realized. Whose ship is this? When I saw my honorable master, I didn't even give way. At the port and on the sea, many people were shocked when they saw that the Pinnacle did not choose to evade. However, it's right to think about it, this is the Sabayati Archipelago, and it's normal to encounter such things. Many pirates gloated after seeing this. I'm afraid it's not a good show to watch. Sure enough, if you don't choose to avoid such a thing, that's the end. It deserves it. Who knows, it's probably a pirate group formed by the young men who just went to sea. We just need to get away quickly to avoid being affected. But he still intends, as long as the other party doesn't come to provoke him and let the Pinnacle leave the port smoothly, he can choose to ignore it. As soon as the noble man gave an order, his subordinates, who were so frightened that they dared not breathe, quickly took orders. Robin said angrily, forget it, no matter who it is, even princes and nobles, they will all be killed. Come on, send an order to open fire on that ship. Advertisement. On the luxury cruise ship, a person of high status saw all the ships rushing out of the way and made way for his luxury cruise ship to pass. However, there was one ship that did not choose to give way, but chose to ignore it and continued to leave the port. Seeing this, Bai Ye couldn't help frowning. The noble man was furious. It turned out that what they encountered was celestial dragons, no wonder, there was such a big fight. What an idiot, in such a situation, he didn't choose to avoid it. With her snow fruit ability, it is still possible to freeze the shells and let them fall into the sea halfway. In the sky, dozens of black shells suddenly appeared. Unlike Robin, Monet, who has completely entrusted his life to Bai Ye, is eager to express himself. Damn it. Damn celestial dragons, always so unreasonable. This time, it offended the self-esteem of this noble person. Lord Bai Ye, let Monet take action and get rid of them. But how could such a thing happen? Do not. Suddenly, the sound of cannons rang out one after another. However, this proposal was rejected by Bai Ye. Gone, why didn't you come early and didn't come later? Why did you encounter such a thing at this time? Seeing dozens of black cannonballs shooting towards open black lens bracket Pinnacle close black lens bracket at the same time, Robin finally couldn't bear it anymore. 235 messed up with the worst person. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Bai Ye doesn't want to get too entangled with celestial dragons, the nobles of the world who think they are superior. Since the other party insists on messing with him, then, just get rid of it. Yes, others may be afraid of celestial dragons, even the 4 emperors are very afraid of celestial dragons, and they dare not offend celestial dragons unless it is absolutely necessary. But who is Bai Ye? Mere celestial dragons, how could they scare him? Seeing that dozens of shells were about to fall on the peak, people's hearts were in their throats at the port and on the sea. When they saw the honorable celestial dragons, they didn't choose to back off. They deserved it. However, the chilling thing is that everyone feels that Bai Ye and the others deserve it, and they deserve it. Although, they didn't make any mistakes, but not choosing to avoid the celestial dragons was the biggest mistake they made. Yes, people living in this world have long been brainwashed. They think that celestial dragons are superior existences. No matter who they are, they must kneel down and avoid them when they see the noble celestial dragons. But there is a group of people who actually broke this rule, they didn't deserve to be blamed, what was it? However, just when people thought so, something unexpected happened. Fire Dragon Slayer magic. The flames of the Fire Dragon. Bai Ye didn't even think about it, and at the moment the shell fell, he punched out. Boom. The monstrous flames gushed out, swallowing all the shells in an instant. Then, the flame turned into a giant dragon, roaring, and rushed towards the luxury cruise ship that Celestial Dragons was on. Boom. There was a loud bang. Advertisement. Just like that, the luxury cruise ship was engulfed by the golden flames, and instantly turned into ashes, leaving no residue. As for the ship, the self-proclaimed Celestial Dragons didn't even have a chance to make a sound before they died. Does he regret it? Should be. He probably never dreamed that he provoked the worst person in the world. God. Oh my god. Idiot. Idiots. They actually killed the celestial dragons. Originally, they would just die, but now, things may not be that simple. Their families, their relatives, and even everyone related to them, all die. How dare anyone kill celestial dragons? Stupid. Even Bai Ye killed the celestial dragons with a gesture of his hand. People still feel that Bai Ye did the stupidest thing in the world. This is the greatest tragedy in this world. However, with so many people at the scene, there are still discerning people after all. Golden flame. Isn't this the flame of that demon? Demon. What demon? The strongest demon in the new era, Bai Ye. What? Wow, it's true. I said, why is that ship so familiar? It's a devil's ship, open black lens bracket peak. At this moment, people's ideas finally changed subtly. If it's the demon Bai Ye, then there's nothing else to say. No wonder he dared to kill celestial dragons, it turned out to be him. It's unlucky for that celestial dragons, it's not good to mess with someone, but they actually provoked this demon. Advertisement. It is estimated that celestial dragons, after going to hell, their intestines will be green. However, after all, it's killing the celestial dragons. I'm afraid it won't be that simple, right? All the pirates around here will probably get into trouble because of this matter, right? That's right, after all, those who were killed were the extremely noble celestial dragons. What's the big deal? Let's stay away from Spectators archipelago as soon as possible. Makes sense. However, things are not that simple. After a few seconds, a dense black shadow that almost covered the entire sea level appeared in front of all the pirates. However, they should be glad that at least they are still alive. Everything, for them, happened too suddenly and brought them too much shock. On the other side, Bai Ye and others have not realized what happened on the sea surface at the Spectators archipelago port shortly after they left. Open black lens bracket pinnacle close black lens bracket has been away from Spectators archipelago port for a long time, but the pirates gathered in Spectators archipelago are still discussing what happened just now. Point 0. What the hell happened just now? All the pirates panicked. Damn it, I told you earlier that it's not suitable to stay here for a long time, and I told you to evacuate quickly, but you just didn't listen. What do you mean? Isn't it just a celestial dragons that died? It's celestial dragons that died. There is no way. After all, when he was a spy, the longer he stayed in the marine, the more he knew that killing the celestial dragons would bring terrible consequences to himself, to himself and everyone around him. Recalling how servile the Straw Hat Pirates were when they encountered the celestial dragons in the Spectators archipelago, Zoro was even turned into a child by Jewelry Bonnie, a woman with a big stomach, and was forced to kneel down to the celestial dragons. Seeing Bai Ye's attack, Virgo couldn't help but kill the celestial dragons directly, and almost had a heart attack from being frightened. Advertisement. Many innocent residents at the port were also affected. The rest, looking at the mess in front of them, showed deep fear on their faces. On the contrary, Nami on the side, after recovering from the extreme shock, saw a subtle change in the way he looked at Bai Ye. Bai Ye seemed to know what Virgo was thinking. After glancing at him, he didn't say anything, but ordered to leave the port. However, at this moment, the originally calm sea suddenly became no longer calm. Pinnacle headed towards South Blue, and sailed slowly to Sichuan. They estimated that they would talk for 3 days and 3 nights without stopping. 0 for flowers. What should we do now? Is it too late to evacuate now? She now understands why Robin followed Bai Ye wholeheartedly. After all, Bai Ye's personality is too charming. He is so bold. On the surface of the sea, only the wreckage of the ship, the broken limbs of the pirates, and the seawater stained red by blood are left. Yes, these people have been scared out of their wits. Why is everyone dead in an instant? But now, Bai Ye shot celestial dragons without saying anything. Wow, isn't it just that a celestial dragons died? Is it necessary to send out such a big battle? Can this huge gap not bring a huge shock to Nami? Even if he is one of the most courageous people in the entire Don Quixote family, he would never dare to kill the celestial dragons. If the world government finds out about this, it will definitely send out as soon as possible. At this time, they only thought of evacuating from the scene as soon as possible, but unfortunately, it was already too late. This is Celestial Dragons. 236 5 Elders' Wrath. 5 consecutive buster calls. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. An hour ago. Holy Land Mariajoy. World Government Headquarters Building. 5 elders, 5 old guys, are holding an important meeting. This meeting was naturally about the sudden return of Lord I Am and how to deal with the matter that Lord I Am told them. Master I Am personally called the name and asked us to find that guy who wanted to kill God as soon as possible. What do you think should be done about this matter? Broadsword 5 elders pondered. Here is the problem. Bai Ye, the demon, is it so easy to catch? Back then, Kaido, Big Mom, and our Green Bull failed to catch him when they teamed up. To win Bai Ye, it is impossible to rely on Marine's group of eaters who eat inside and outside. Unless, a few of us old guys do it ourselves. The blonde 5, 350, Old Star said. It can be heard that he has been dissatisfied with Marine for a long time. Our status is so noble, how could we do it ourselves casually? In my opinion, Lord IM doesn't know whose masterpiece it is to use power rocks to blow up Foz Island. Just find a pirate to take the place of the dead ghost. Quote. The bald five elders suggested. You mustn't do it. It's a capital offense to deceive Lord IM. Lord IM's hands and eyes are open to the sky, how can he be so easy to deceive? Besides, Kaido is now in the hands of Lord IM. The curly-haired five elders holding a cane immediately vetoed the words. Advertisement. After hearing the words, everyone felt that this was indeed the case. Although Kaido is still seriously injured and unconscious, what if he suddenly wakes up one day? Then wouldn't the lie be exposed immediately? Even if Kaido can't wake up, where are they going to find a pirate with similar strength to Kaido to take the blame? IM is not a fool, and the person who can push Kaido into a desperate situation cannot be a pirate of average strength. If this road doesn't work, then we can only catch Bai Ye, the culprit, and present it to Lord IM. White-bearded five elders, who had always been taciturn, spoke. It seems that this is the only way. The bald five elders sighed. However, how to win Bai Ye is not an easy task. Before, Kaido, Big Mom and LV Niu joined forces and failed to win Bai Ye. Could it be that they really have to do it themselves? Just when the five elders were discussing this matter, a member of the CPO organization rushed into the meeting room and reported to the five people something that shocked them. At the same time, Naval Headquarters, Admiral Akainu holding the silver phone bug, and the three admirals holding the golden phone bug, when they heard the phone bug, it rang 5 times in a row, and their faces changed drastically at the same time. But Bai Ye and others who had been away from Sabayati Archipelago for a long time did not know that behind them, because Bai Ye killed the celestial dragons, a brutal massacre was triggered. The blonde five elders was furious. They knew that five elders would use their authority to launch Buster Call again, but they never expected that five elders would be so crazy that they made 5 Buster Calls in a row. According to the information from the Don Quixote family's intelligence network that Virgo received, some of their intelligence personnel discovered that the old-school pirate Golden Lion Shiki, who used to be as famous as the One Piece King Gall D. Roger, appeared in South Blue. Advertisement. Originally, I wanted to capture him alive. But now it seems that he has made a big mistake, and there is no need to keep him alive. Besides, Mrs. IM did not say, if you want to die, you still want to die. Even the curly-haired five elders were furious. Originally thought that this would be another long and boring voyage, but on the way, Bai Ye suddenly received an exciting news. Damn it, I knew a long time ago that if I keep this son, there will be big troubles in the future. Unexpectedly, he even dared to kill a celestial dragons, how brave. Unknowingly, a few days passed. Everyone, in this way, everyone agrees. Out of anger, they couldn't help but open the black box one after another, and press the crimson button inside. Broadsword five elders said. Moreover, the location where the flying pirates are now is just over Uzumaki, a sea surface not far from them. Of course, even if he knew, Bai Ye probably wouldn't care too much. The figure of open black lens bracket Pluton close black lens bracket also appeared in the south blue waters. As the five elders spoke, they took out a black box from under their seats. Because Buster Call will attack the location indiscriminately, the residents and pirates who were near the scene at that time were naturally unable to escape. Of course, he dared to kill the incomparably noble celestial dragons, and he was wiped out under the watchful eyes of everyone. Such a bad behavior, we must dispatch Buster Call to wipe out Bai Ye. Whitebeard five elders couldn't help but speak too. Advertisement. Of course, South Blue is very huge, and it is almost impossible to reach Trinor Kingdom in a short while. As far as Bai Ye knows, the kingdom of Trino, like Sky Island, has no masters worthy of a fight. Therefore, it is estimated that after finding Chopper, they will leave soon and go to the next destination. The local residents are very familiar with the knowledge about herbal medicine, so Chopper read the message that only friends can understand in the newspaper, and decided to stay here and ask the local residents about herbal medicine to improve their medical skills. Under the brutal and indiscriminate attack, they became victims. So, in an hour, the situation just now appeared on the sea surface of the Sabayati Archipelago sea area, and a dense mass of warships appeared on the sea level. 0. The five elders were both shocked and angry when they heard the words. That's right, and a Buster Call is not enough at all, it has to be. Trino Kingdom is a snow kingdom. Roughly counting, there are at least 50 warships. Okay, Bai Ye, you are bullying us. Celestial dragons, the nobles of the world, are you a lowly pirate who can be killed? That's right, all 5 Buster Calls must be dispatched. What? Bai Ye killed the celestial dragons near the waters of Sabayati Archipelago. What this means, they are very clear. Although it is a long way from the Grand Line to the Kingdom of South Blue Trino, because it is on the peak, the supplies on the ship are sufficient, and there are many partners on board the 5.3, so this voyage will not be lonely. This time, heading towards South Blue, the purpose is naturally to find the next partner of the Straw Hat Pirates, Chopper, who was photographed by Bartholomew Kuma and flew to South Blue's Trino Kingdom. 237 Legendary Great Pirate. Golden Lion Shiki. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Because the flying pirates burned, killed and looted a kingdom in South Blue not long ago, the intelligence personnel naturally obtained the information easily. Now, the reason why the flying pirates have parked their ships above Uzumaki is to avoid the trouble of the marine fleet that came after hearing the news. Even Marine's most advanced warships don't dare rush into Uzumaki and make trouble for them. If so, there is only one fate waiting for them, that is to be crushed to pieces by Uzumaki together with the warship. Unexpectedly, the last time I ran to East Blue specifically for Golden Lion Shiki, I didn't meet him. This time, I didn't intend to look for him, but I met him. It's really hard to find, but it didn't take much effort to get it. For this, Bai Ye couldn't help expressing his feelings. Now that he has met Golden Lion Shiki, Bai Ye naturally does not intend to let him go. Now, because he has activated the ability of blood inheritance, Bai Ye does not intend to let go of any chance to make himself stronger. Challenging legendary pirates like Golden Lion Shiki is undoubtedly the fastest way to improve your strength. Under Bai Ye's order, peak number 30 slightly deviated from the voyage, and soon came to a huge sea Uzumaki. Obviously, Bai Ye still underestimated the area of this sea vortex. This sea surface Uzumaki is not ordinary huge. The radius alone is enough for a kilometer. Even though the pinnacle is not small, it is still like a drop in the ocean before this huge Uzumaki. To venture into this huge Uzumaki, with such fast-flowing waters, is tantamount to courting death. Of course, it doesn't matter if Uzumaki is 10 times bigger, relying on Bai Ye's strength, he casts the magic of dragon slaying in the sky, and manipulates the airflow to prop up the entire ship peak. It's just that Bai Ye didn't do it. Advertisement. He planned to take Robin first and meet Golden Lion Shiki for a while. For Bai Ye's decision, Weibo was naturally very dissatisfied. But there is no way, although he has become very powerful now, but it belongs to the body. It is absolutely impossible for him to fly into the sky with his own strength. Just like that, Bai Ye held Robin's shoulders, took the air current, and flew high into the sky. Nami on the boat looked at this scene and couldn't help feeling envious. This is a pair of fairy couples. Humph. In this regard, Sugar is very disdainful. But for some reason, feeling sour in her heart, she began to eat the grapes on a string. Isn't it? Could it be that she is jealous at such a young age? Wait, Grano seems to be quite old. As for Snow Girl Monet, who has given her whole body and mind to Bai Ye, she will not be jealous. She just looks forward to one day, like Robin, can occupy a pivotal position in Bai Ye's heart. Kilometers high, on a huge pirate ship, Shiki, who was sitting in the chief's seat, drinking and celebrating with his subordinates, suddenly sensed something. Someone is coming. Shiki spoke suddenly. What? Someone is here. Boss Shiki, are you mistaken? We are now at an altitude of thousands of meters. There is no upwelling current here, how can ordinary people come up here? Shiki's deputy, a pale-faced clown wearing a scarf, spoke up. Advertisement. Fufu, that's right, Boss Shiki, you must have made a mistake. Shiki's other deputy, a guy who looks like an orangutan, no, it should be an orangutan, said. Do not. Shiki decisively denied the claims of the two. There are indeed people coming, and they have come. Shiki's tone suddenly became harsh. What? The pirates who were bewildered at the scene realized this, and immediately followed the gaze of their boss and looked behind them. Sure enough, they found that there were suddenly two strangers on board, a man and a woman. No, how did they get here? This place is 1,000 meters above the sky. Seeing these two strangers, the pirates on board couldn't help but become restless. Quiet, you bastards, you didn't even notice anyone else got on the boat, but you are still subordinates of my majestic legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki, it's a shame. Shiki snapped angrily. This time, the restless pirates just calmed down. The people who came to Golden Lion Shiki's boat were none other than Bai Ye and Robin. Seeing Shiki getting angry, Bai Ye was not timid at all, and walked straight towards him. Pirates tried to stop them on the way, but for some reason, they were pushed away by a gust of air just as they were about to step forward. Advertisement. In this way, Bai Ye walked all the way to a few meters in front of Golden Lion, and no pirate could stop him. In the end, it was Shiki's left and right assistants who stood up and stopped Bai Ye. In other words, the subordinates of Golden Lion Shiki are quite useless. Even the strength of Golden Lion Shiki in the theatrical version has been greatly weakened. Golden Lion Shiki, no matter how you say it, is a legendary pirate on par with One Piece Roger and Whitebeard Edward. It's really unreasonable for Luffy to kill the thief with a Titan Thunder Axe. Therefore, the strength of Golden Lion Shiki and his two subordinates here will be greatly strengthened. Who are you? When did you come to 297 on the ship of our flying pirates? The orangutan snapped. A powerful momentum approached Bai Ye. Conqueror's Haki. Seeing this, Bai Ye froze for a moment. In his impression, Golden Lion Shiki's subordinates should be a bunch of trash. Unexpectedly, the ugly-looking orangutan next to him actually mastered the Conqueror's Haki. However, this was a surprise to Bai Ye. Even one of his subordinates is proficient in Conqueror's Haki. It is conceivable that Golden Lion Shiki's strength is definitely much stronger than his impression. Bai Ye now needs to challenge more strong men to improve his own strength. Moreover, even one of his subordinates has such strength, which is in line with the character design that Golden Lion Shiki should have as a legendary pirate. Golden Lion Shiki in the theatrical version is simply too weak. Why are you talking so much nonsense with him? No matter what his background is, just get rid of it. The clown on the side said coldly. As he spoke, he shook his hands crossed in front of his chest, and at some point, there were already 8 more throwing knives in his hands. The speed was so fast that even Robin next to Bai Ye couldn't see clearly how he pulled out the throwing knife. From the looks of it, this clown is also very powerful, probably not worse than the orangutan. 238 Yi Chen. Robin, I leave this clown to you. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Of course, Bai Ye didn't pay attention to the two of them, he didn't even glance at them, and just ignored them. Bai Ye's gaze was always on Golden Lion Shiki. Are you Golden Lion Shiki? Bai Ye asked knowingly. Bold, our boss's name is also what you, a kid, can call casually. When the clown and the executioner, orangutan, heard this, they were very angry. Just when the two of them were about to attack Bai Ye, Golden Lion Shiki stopped them. Wait. Golden Lion Shiki opened his mouth to stop the clown and the executioner, and his torch-like eyes fell on Bai Ye. Since he has been living as a fugitive all along, he rarely cares about the various major events that have happened in the world in the past year. Even if they know the Summit War incident and heard of Bai Ye's name, they don't know what Bai Ye looks like. Besides, he thought that as a legendary figure like him, he wanted to be remembered by others, not by others. Similarly, the members of the Flying Pirates did not recognize the little man, Bai Ye, they just thought he looked familiar, that's all. Boy, since you have heard the old man's name Golden Lion Shiki, you still dare to bring a girl and run to the old man's boat, it seems that you have a lot of courage. Golden Lion Shiki continued. Of course, no matter how famous the name of Golden Lion Shiki is, he is only a human being after all, not a demon. I have nothing to dare. Bai Ye said arrogantly. This arrogant attitude immediately angered the clown and the executioner. If Shiki hadn't stopped them, they would have liked to pull Bai Ye's skin immediately. Interesting. The old man admires you for being an arrogant young man, but after all, you did one thing wrong, and rashly ran on a pirate ship of a legendary figure. That is a very dangerous thing. Advertisement. Crow the clown, take him down. Golden Lion Shiki suddenly ordered. Hey, round. Clown Crow couldn't help but smirked when he heard that. Coupled with his pale clown face, it looks even more invisible and terrifying. In this regard, Clown Crow feels that their boss Shiki can entrust him with the matter of solving Bai Ye, which is a great respect to him. So, no matter what, he's going to take Bai Ye's. Only by him. When Bai Ye heard this, his face was full of disdain. If it wasn't for Golden Lion Shiki, he wouldn't even be in the mood to do it. Robin, he'll leave it to you. Bai Ye said, taking a step back. No problem. Robin followed the trend. All of a sudden, the atmosphere of the entire ship suddenly became quiet. PFF'd ha ha ha. Golden Lion Shiki burst into laughter. Boy, it's a good thing I still value you, so I didn't send miscellaneous fish to deal with you as soon as I came up, but directly let one of my right and left lieutenants, the Clown Crow, deal with you. Unexpectedly, you came up to us in time. The strength of Flying Sky is not good enough to use its brain. It even let a little girl deal with Oda Klaus. From the words of Golden Lion Shiki, it can be heard that he has great confidence in the strength of his left and right assistants. So much so that Bai Ye asked Robin to deal with Clown Crow. In his opinion, it was a mindless act. Foo, you actually sent a woman to deal with Crow. I'm afraid you don't know Crow's strength. Even with his strength, he is not timid in the face of Marine Admiral. Advertisement. The executioner couldn't help but speak. The Clown Crow also showed complacency when he heard the old Yamato's colleagues recognize his strength. However, these words fell into the ears of Bai Ye and Robin, but both of them took them as nothing. Especially Robin. Isn't it the strength to compete with Marine Admiral? HMPH, it seems that someone's strength is not enough to compete with Marine Admiral. Robin snorted coldly in his heart. When they saw Bai Ye and Robin, they didn't seem to listen to their words at all, and Golden Lion Shiki didn't bother to pay attention, and nodded to Clown Crow to signal that he could do it. Hey. The Clown Crow first let out a series of weird laughter, and then his figure gradually disappeared in front of everyone's eyes like a magic trick. Using weird laughter to interfere with the audiovisual. Robin looked at the gradually disappearing figure of Clown Crow, and quickly concentrated, always paying attention to every move around him, and beware of the Clown Crow's surprise attack from any direction. It's appeared, Big Brother Crow's Oda trick. Gia, she is doomed, what a pity, such a glamorous beauty. The pirates of the Flying Pirates were extremely excited when they saw the Clown Cloud disappear out of thin air without even catching a breath. Even Robin couldn't help but look serious and concentrate. Only Bai Ye is still calm and breezy. He is full of confidence in Robin. Golden Lion Shiki sat on his seat and stretched. It seems that he has considerable trust in the strength of his deputy. That's right, in his opinion, Robin actually made the clown crow disappear without a trace in front of his eyes. She was already dead. Quietly. Advertisement. A blue nose appeared behind Robin, followed by 8 extremely sharp throwing knives. The clown crow seems to have the ability to transfer space, and he traveled behind Robin in an instant. He let out a silent sneer, and threw out the 8 throwing knives mercilessly in his hand. Whoosh. The light of the flying knife flashed by. Everything happened too suddenly. Not to mention Robin. Even the executioners who already know the tricks of Clown Crow will never guess which direction Clown Crow will come out from in the next second. Therefore, when he noticed the flash of the flying knife, the executioner felt that the Clown Crow had already taken blood. Kim, God Zhao, Shiki the lion, thinks so too. The difference is that he clearly saw where the Clown Crow appeared from. Attacking Robin from behind is undoubtedly what Wang Juan did. However, seeing that the 8 flying knives were about to stab Robin's body, piercing from the back to the front chest, at this moment, something unexpected happened. I got you. Robin suddenly let out a cold snort. She twisted her waist, and cleverly dodged the 8 throwing knives in an extremely incredible posture. Immediately afterwards, Robin turned around and slapped the Clown Kalu hard. Colossal purple and red flower bone. Robin slapped Clown Crow with a palm. The seemingly weak and boneless palm turned into bones in an instant, and was fiercely engraved on the chest of the Clown Crow. Click. The sound of broken ribs. Clown Crow's chest is completely sunken. 239 Is this a clown trick? Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The ribs in Clown Crow's chest were all broken by Robin. Not only that, but a shocking bone flower imprint was left on his chest. Wow. The Clown Crow spat out a mouthful of blood, and then his whole body flew upside down like a cannonball. Then, it slammed into the hull severely, directly smashing a big hole in the hull. Coincidentally, the Clown Crow ran into the place, which happened to be next to the Golden Lion Shiki. If it was a bit off, it would probably hit Golden Lion Shiki. Obviously, it was Robin's intention to beat the Clown Crow in this way, which is full of provocation. Who made him despise himself just now, and said, Bai Ye does things without thinking. Clam. This. No. No. For the sudden scene, everyone on board, including Golden Lion Shiki and his other executioner, was stunned. Who would have thought that this weak-looking girl in front of her could be so strong? Clown Crow, but he has enough strength to fight against Marine Admiral, so he was blown away by a weak woman like this. Whoever it was, 963 couldn't accept this fact for a while. What's more, the executioner didn't talk nonsense. Clown Crow's strength is indeed enough to fight against Marine Admiral. But here is the problem. Clown Crow obviously underestimated Robin precisely because of his own strength. Unexpectedly, Robin also has the strength of Marine Admiral level. Boy, who are you? At this time, Golden Lion Shiki finally remembered to ask Bai Ye's name. Advertisement. At first, he looked down on Bai Ye completely, but now, even a woman beside him has the same strength as Marine Admiral, so he has to face Bai Ye squarely. At least, he has already guessed that Bai Ye's background must be not small. Just remember to ask my name now. Golden Lion Shiki, you are not just a big name. Yes, you are a legendary big pirate after all. Bai Ye said lightly. Forget it, let me tell you my name truthfully. Listen up, Golden Lion Shiki, my name is Hayakuya. Bai Ye said without humility. Bai Ye. When the members of the Flying Pirates heard the words at first, they felt a little strange. But soon, they remembered something. The strongest demon in the new era, Bai Ye. After adding the prefix, everyone felt much more familiar. However, after learning Bai Ye's true identity, the pirates on board were not calm again. No way, he is really the demon who ended the summit war by himself, Bai Ye. I thought he would be older. After all, I heard that he and Whitebeard Edward are brothers. I didn't expect him to be so young. No wonder, I feel so familiar. Could it be fake? No, I can't be wrong, he is the demon Bai Ye. The age and appearance are just right. Gah, I didn't expect it to be him. No wonder, dare to bring a girl to the flying space. For a while, the crowd was restless. Oh, it's you. After Golden Lion Shiki learned of Bai Ye's true identity, he was also a little surprised. Advertisement. Is this the Bai Ye who fraternized with his nemesis Whitebeard Edward in his youth? The strongest demon in the new era. You know, the summit war couldn't end even for a guy as powerful as Whitebeard, but he ended the summit war by himself. This is no coincidence. Although Golden Lion Shiki is arrogant, he has not yet stepped blindly. With the fact that Bai Ye ended the summit war, he knew that Bai Ye, the strongest demon in the new era, should be worthy of the name, and there was absolutely no falsehood. After all, the strength of old guys like Sengoku and Garp, as a person of the older generation, he is still very clear about their strength. Bai Ye was able to end the summit war under their hands. It is conceivable that his strength will definitely not be weaker than Sengoku and Garp, and even surpass them. Thinking of this, Golden Lion looked at Bai Ye with a more serious gaze. Why, now that you know my identity, you regret sending only one subordinate to deal with me, don't you? Bai Ye saw that Shiki was looking at him all the time, so he couldn't help but say something arrogantly. HMPH. That's not necessarily true. Unexpectedly, when Golden Lion Shiki heard this, he just snorted coldly. Everything is not over yet. Just as Robin withdrew her slender hand, suddenly, the invisible and strange laughter sounded again. Hey hey hey. Clown Crow's voice filled the entire ship, eerie and creepy. In the next second, the figure of Clown Crow reappeared. Although his body was wounded, the injury was obviously not enough to kill him. On the contrary, he was covered in blood, making him look even more terrifying, and the expression on his face was even more cruel. Go to hell. The Clown Crow gave an order, and the throwing knife that had failed before suddenly turned back again and stabbed at Robin at an extremely fast speed. All of this happened so suddenly that even Robin didn't react for a while. Advertisement. She caught Buggy the Clown and was always on guard against him making another shot, but she never expected that he could control the flying knife to turn back again. Moreover, the return of the flying knife is not an ordinary return, it is on the way, after several space jumps and speed-ups. Therefore, almost at the moment Clown Crow appeared, 8 throwing knives had pierced through Luo's body. The speed is so fast that it is impossible to guard against. Is this a clown trick? Sure enough, it's not easy. Flutter, flutter. 8 throwing knives pierced Robin's body at the same time. Hands, feet, heart, head. But all important parts of the human body are pierced by flying knives. Not only that, the armament hockey covering the 8 throwing knives was also directly detonated while penetrating Robin's body. For a time, flesh and blood flew everywhere. Robin's hands and feet were blown off one after another, and 4 shocking blood holes were blown out of his body. Even more than half of the head was blown off. This situation, especially for a glamorous beauty, shouldn't be too tragic. The body was blown up like this. Now, let alone an ordinary person, even a marine admiral, would it be difficult to survive. What's more, Robin's strength is actually a little worse than marine admiral. Therefore, almost everyone felt that this time Robin, whatever he said, was dead. Brother Crow is awesome. The salted fish of the flying pirates quickly called out 666. 240 Robin's might. Crush Clown Crow. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Clown Crow, it's really you. The executioner couldn't help but speak. Golden Lion Shiki looked at Bai Ye playfully. However, Bai Ye just responded with a sneer to Golden Lion Shiki's gaze. No wonder people think so. Indeed, if you were an ordinary person, even someone with Logia fruit ability would be dead. After all, the elemental ability of a Logia user is completely restrained by armament hockey. Unfortunately, Robin is not an ordinary person. Seeing Bai Ye was still in the mood to smile at this moment, Golden Lion Shiki seemed to realize something. He looked at Robin again. It didn't matter if he didn't look, but he was startled when he saw it. He saw Robin whose body was blown up in a mess, with bones growing out of his severed arms and legs. At this moment, Robin has completely turned into a bone beauty. Although it is terrifying, it reveals a spooky beauty all the time. This kind of pervert beauty made everyone present terrified and unable to stop, and couldn't bear to take their eyes off Robin. How is this possible? Even if it is Logia demon fruit power, it is impossible to recover so quickly after being injured by armament hockey. What kind of ability is this? Even Crow the Clown, at this moment, his voice trembled a little. The clown is supposed to bring terror to people, but now, he himself is afraid first. At the same time, Robin, who had turned into a bone beauty, suddenly floated up into the air, and her hands were involuntarily formed with some curse marks that she didn't even understand. Morning. Fern. Of. Dance. Robin called out the name of the move word by word. Kai. Countless bone spurs pierced through the deck, pierced out, and stabbed Oda Clow. Advertisement. This is Kimamaro's ultimate move. If Gaara hadn't tried the desert floating technique, he and Xiaoli would have been stabbed to death by this move. From this we can see how powerful this move is. So fast. Clow the Clown saw the bone spur spreading all the way, stabbing towards him at an extremely fast speed. He was so frightened that he quickly used his ability and escaped into the interlayer of space. Flutter. Countless bone spurs protruded, but they only stabbed empty. On the contrary, many members of the flying pirates who gathered together were innocently affected and directly pierced by bone spurs. The remaining ones were either lucky, or they ran fast. Seeing that the situation was not good, they hurriedly dodged aside, and escaped unharmed. Even the leading seat of the Golden Lion Shiki was directly covered by bones. Looking at this scene, Golden Lion Shiki's face became more serious. He never expected that even a beautiful woman beside Bai Ye would be so powerful. Especially the ability to grow bones. With his knowledge, he doesn't remember that there is some kind of devil fruit in this world that has a similar effect. The Clown Crow, who bears the brunt, has indeed escaped a catastrophe by relying on his ability to hide in the interlayer of space. But seeing the tragic situation at the scene, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. What kind of move is this? The power is too terrifying, right? Fortunately, I made a decisive decision and escaped unharmed. However, he has not waited for him to breathe a sigh of relief. Flutter. A bone spur suddenly pierced the space, directly piercing his whole body. Immediately, the clown who had disappeared without a trace appeared again. How? How is it possible? I have already hid in the space interlayer. This white bone actually pierced the space. How is this possible? Advertisement. Crow the clown looked at his pierced heart with horror and disbelief. Go to hell. Robin didn't know when, but she had already arrived behind Clown Crow. After she finished speaking with a blank face, she swept forward with her right hand, which turned into a sharp bone sword. Shua. Swords and swords flashed by. Clown Crow's head flew straight up. The Clown Crow was actually beheaded by a seemingly weak beauty. At this moment, the entire flying pirate group exploded. People's scalps are numb. Sure enough, this bone-boned beauty is really a dangerous existence. She actually killed Clow. Come on, avenge Clow. Don't be impulsive, we may not be her opponent together. But, could it be that Brother Crow just died in vain? Then there is no way, who knew that the opponent would be so powerful? For a while, people panicked. Zero looking for flowers. Just when everyone thought that Clown Crow died in vain, things changed a little. Clown Crow's head flew high and just fell down. When it passed Robin's neck, his eyes, which had already rolled their eyes, suddenly moved. Immediately afterwards, a sharp long sword was spit out from the mouth of the Clown Crow with only his head left. Hey, your bone power is really scary, but unfortunately, my clown tricks are even better. The body is cut to pieces, this is just one of the clown tricks. Hey, the long sword hadn't pierced Robin's neck yet, but Crow the Clown laughed triumphantly. Advertisement. Yes, he forgot to say just now, his head was not actually cut off by the bone sword, but he used the space ability to put his body and head in different spaces. 0. The chop fruit of the clown buggy can be regarded as a lower level fruit of this space fruit. Seeing that, the conspiracy of the Clown Crow is about to succeed. But at this moment, a cruel sneer suddenly appeared on Robin's face. When sparks fly, Robin seemed to have seen through the tricks of Clown Crow. She turned around suddenly, and grabbed the long sword spit out of Clown Crow's mouth with her bony hands. Then, he threw it to the ground. At the same time, Robin's bony arms intertwined in front of his chest. In the next second, countless pale flower branches spread out, turned into a huge bone hand, and slapped the Clown Clow on the head. Coincidentally, through the gap between the bones, Clown Crow finally noticed the cruel coldness in Robin's eyes. At this moment, he finally understood. The bone sword is a part of Robin's body. How could she not feel whether the bone sword had actually cut his head? She was just scheming just now. It's a pity that the Clown Crow only realized now that it was too late. Bang! The huge bone hand was imprinted hard, and the huge flying sky was directly penetrated. Black smoke billowed, and the flying sky was in turmoil, and it seemed that it might fall from the sky at any time. Wow! The pirates of the Flying Pirates, at this moment, finally learned how powerful Robin is. Crow the Clown is no match for her at all. 241 The Buster Call fleet arrives and blows up Uzumaki. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. At the same time. Below. Wable, Sisters Monet and others all noticed the movement of the flying sky above their heads. Seeing that the huge, flying space hull seemed to have suffered a huge attack, it was directly pierced, and thick smoke billowed out. For a long time, Wable, who wanted to work for Bai, finally couldn't help it. Has the fight started so soon? Sure enough, I should have caught up with Brother Bai Ye and the others just now. Seeing this, Wable couldn't help crying. Now you say, don't you think it's over, big idiot? We can't fly, how can we get up? Granos rolled his eyes and said, no, Virgo, find a way to let me go up. Wable thought about it, but still felt unwilling, and immediately said to Virgo, who seemed to be the only one on board with a full IQ. At this distance, I can't shoot you up even if I use the 533 cannon. Unless, we can rush to the center of Uzumaki. As Virgo spoke, he glanced at the giant Uzumaki, but stopped talking. Indeed, the cannon on the pinnacle is considered very advanced, but its range is only 1,000 meters. From the edge of Uzumaki, it is obviously not enough to hit the flying sky, staying at an altitude of 1,000 meters above the center of Uzumaki. Unless, risking their lives, the pinnacle will be driven into the center of Uzumaki. However, such an approach is tantamount to moths jumping into the flames and committing suicide. Although Wable has mental problems, he is not stupid enough to die for no reason. I can use the ability of snow fruit to create wings and take a person to fly up, but for you, you are too heavy. Advertisement. Monet, who had always been taciturn, finally spoke. However, even if it was her, there was no way she could take a big, stupid guy like Wable to fly 1,000 meters into the air. So, is there no way to go up to the sky? Indeed. But not quite. At this moment, something strange suddenly happened on the surface of the sea. The sea became rougher and more turbulent. Soon, on the sea level opposite the huge Uzumaki, a dark landscape suddenly appeared. When everyone took a closer look, the dark landscape turned out to be all state-of-the-art marine warships, roughly counting them, at least 50 of them. What's going on here? Is Marine planning to conquer the world? A battleship of this level is at least equivalent to 5 buster calls. Virgo, who was once a high-ranking Marine officer, is a sensible person. He can tell at a glance that so many warships are at least equivalent to 5 buster call levels. 5 buster call. Seeing this situation, Sa Tang was so frightened that he forgot to eat his favorite grapes on his fingers. Not to mention the little girl like Granos, even Monet and Wabel were shocked when they saw the battle on the opposite side. Could it be that this is here to deal with us? Monet suddenly thought of something. Impossible, that would be so bitter and vengeful that it would make 5 consecutive buster calls to deal with us. Virgo obviously didn't believe it. This level of warships, this number, can go to conquer the world. Although this world is already under the control of the world government, there are still many disobedient elements. The Revolutionary Army, Neo Marine, and many other countries. But, have you forgotten, not long ago, Brother Bai Ye just killed a celestial dragons. Advertisement. Monet's words can be said to be a shocking dream. According to what you said, there is such a possibility. After all, celestial dragons are the nobles of the world and a symbol of the world government. The dignity of celestial dragons cannot be violated. Hey. When Virgo thought of this sick world, he couldn't help but sneered. The reason why he, Torebel and others support Doflamingo, and even want him to be the only emperor in this world, isn't it because they can't get used to such a sick world? As evil pirates, they don't have the so-called lofty ideals of saving the world, saving all people from suffering, but they really want to change the world. The other side. Buster Call Fleet. Because Bai Ye suddenly changed the direction of sailing, they chased in the wrong direction. Fortunately, their news is still very timely. Vice Admiral fell silent. Above. Thus, the most unimaginable scene in the history of pirates happened. 3.4. Could it be that he just let the other party go? But for this mission, he was the one with the highest say. Immediately, the scouts didn't dare to hesitate, so they hurriedly sent an order to blow up Uzumaki. Of course not. Scout thinks Vice Admiral must be crazy. Vice Admiral flatly dismissed the idea. All of a sudden, the sky was filled with artillery fire, and the flames lit up the entire sea. A very senior Vice Admiral ordered with a sullen face. If the range is not enough, just blow up Uzumaki. Fried flat Uzumaki. Shiki was also taken aback when he saw the densely packed 50 battleships below through the big hole that Robin pierced. Advertisement. Shiki and Bai Ye were similarly attracted by the huge movement below. Robin, who was about to attack and completely eliminate Clown Crow, couldn't help but stop because of the huge movement coming from below. Therefore, no matter what, they will not let the pinnacle and the people on it go. Can this be tolerated? Marine warship? No, a battleship. 50 battleship-class warships fired at the same time, bombing Uzumaki. Marine? No, it should be the world government. After all, only the world government has such a great right to send so many warships at once. Seeing that Vice Admiral didn't speak, the scout hurriedly said cautiously. A scout immediately reported back. Open black lens bracket flying sky close black lens bracket enter. What is the world government planning to do with such a big battle? Vice Admiral issued an incredible order. Although, in the past 800 years, the world government and the marine government have launched buster calls several times, but every buster call has successfully completed the task, which is a fact. 0. Vice Admiral, what should we do now? If we bypass Uzumaki and continue to pursue, I'm afraid it will be too late. After finding out that you were chasing in the wrong direction, you quickly turned around and came back. But also because of this, the buster call fleet is equivalent to spare half a circle. When they intercepted the pinnacle, they found that they were blocked by a huge Uzumaki. Throughout the 800 years since the establishment of the buster call fleet, the mission they performed was not successfully completed. Fire and sink the pinnacle directly, don't miss any of them. Report, Vice Admiral, the target is too far away and our cannons don't have enough range. Do not. What? 242, peak, encountering a crisis. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Could it be to kill the old man Golden Lion Shiki? Well, I didn't expect that the old man would be so face-saving that the world government would dispatch so many warships to deal with it at once. Golden Lion Shiki thought smugly. But that's right, no matter what the old man says, he is a legendary pirate with the same reputation as Roger. Thinking of this, Golden Lion Shiki became even more proud. It's a pity, what he never expected was that the world government dispatched such a big battle, and it didn't come for him, an old lion, but for Bai Ye. Bai Ye saw 50 marine warships below, and soon understood what was going on. It seems that killing the celestial dragons really annoyed the world government. Annoying the world government is not a conscious choice for a pirate, but Bai Ye doesn't care. Anyway, he knew very well that the conflict with the world government would break out sooner or later, it just came earlier and later. The firepower of the 5 buster call fleets is really not covered. Even with such a huge Uzumaki, it was completely covered by firepower. After a brief bombardment, Vice Admiral waved 30 times with a sullen face to stop. When the artillery fire ceased, the scene in front of him was shocking. Such a big and turbulent Uzumaki was actually blown flat. It can be seen how fierce the firepower of the Buster Call fleet is, let alone 5 Buster Call fleets. Advertisement. To put it bluntly, some small countries have no resistance to Buster Call at all. Wow, did you really blow Uzumaki flat? Wabel, who laughed at Marine for wasting shells at the beginning, couldn't laugh at the moment. He never expected that the firepower of these warships in front of him was so fierce. In a short time, the Uzumaki was flattened. On the surface of the sea at this moment, where the huge Uzumaki was originally, the Uzumaki has long since disappeared without a trace, leaving only the choppy and churning sea water. Good chance. Virgo has a different idea from Wabel. He thinks that this is a good opportunity for them to board the flying space. Listen, helmsman, at full speed, toward the original center of Uzumaki. Virgo made a decisive decision and ordered. Yes. The helmsman quickly responded. Under Virgo's order, open black lens bracket pinnacle close black lens bracket rushed towards the original center of Uzumaki at an extremely fast speed. On the other side, when Marine saw this, it was impossible to let the peak go, but they didn't understand, Uzumaki was blown up by them. It stands to reason that the pirates on the peak should have been scared to death. That being the case, why didn't they run away quickly? Instead they rushed towards them. Could it be that Bai Ye, the devil, still wants to die with them? Thinking of this, Vice Admiral's complexion became even uglier. He took a deep breath, and ordered again. Everyone obeys the order, fire, and sink the peak. Yes. Under the powerful reply of the Marine soldiers, the 50 battleships fired again. Advertisement. The cannonballs fell like raindrops around the peak and the day was full of dangers. Although the ship's helmsman was transferred from the Whitebeard Pirates, he was frightened and panicked after experiencing such a scene. 243. As a result, Vice Admiral's face became even more livid. Seeing this, Virgo quickly took over as the helmsman and took the helm himself. I saw that he directly covered armament hockey all over his body, and relying on his years of experience as a pirate, under his control, Pinnacle deftly avoided all the shells. Yeah, it's Buster Call after all, and anything goes to get it done. What's the point of wasting a little cannonball? Everyone glanced at him when they heard the sound, only to realize that the fist he used to explode the cannonball just now was blown to pieces. With the soldiers' answer, the second round of bombing began again. In the next second, countless shells fell head-on towards Pinnacle again. This is Wabel with the blessing of the blood of the Demon King. His physical strength is not ordinary, and he can even be injured by a shell. It can be seen that these shells are not ordinary shells. They are probably used to deal with some special abilities. Shells. Damn it, this is no ordinary shell. Wabel yelled. Yes. Rumble. As the shells continued to fall, the sea water was blown up. Occasionally, 1 or 2 huge bubbles will roll up, and after the bubbles, it turns out to be a sea master with a full stomach. Fortunately, Wabel reacted very quickly. When the cannonball fell, he directly used the blood of the Demon King to enlarge it, and then directly exploded the cannonball with a punch. Damn it, I can't hold on anymore. Even if Virgo's armament hockey is proficient in cultivation, he will not be able to hold on for a while in the face of the constant bombardment. Even if he can hold on, Pinnacle will not be able to hold on. Rumble. Advertisement. Fortunately, Wabel's current physical self-healing ability is so powerful that it is even more perverted than Robin, who inherited Dead Bone Pulse. Therefore, it didn't take long for his blown fist to return to its original state. Pinnacle also successfully resisted the original center of Uzumaki. Finally, what was supposed to happen, still happened. Boom. They didn't even think about whether to waste shells. The shell exploded 1 meter above peak, and the huge shock wave almost blew the thin sugar away. Although Virgo skillfully avoided almost all the shells, but because of the high density of the shells, 563 shells slipped through the net and were about to fall on the shipboard. However, this is only the beginning of the crisis. The belly is turned over, it can be seen that the Sea Kings have been blown to death. Get off. Double the firepower. Cover the entire area, we must destroy Pinnacle. Vice Admiral was shocked to see open black lens bracket peak close black lens bracket avoiding almost overwhelming shell attacks, but soon, he discovered that the person at the helm of open black lens bracket peak close black lens bracket was the Marine trader Virgo. But after the medium run, it will definitely affect the performance of Pinnacle. As long as it is hit by 1 shot, it will inevitably hit the second shot, the third shot, until it sinks. Under such a firepower coverage, if the position is not good, the Pinnacle will get a shot, and things will become troublesome. It's not that he hit a shot or 2, peak string sank. It's Virgo, the traitor. Even the Sea Kings who live deep under the sea will inevitably be affected. It can be seen how fierce the firepower of the shells is. Vice Admiral almost gritted his teeth. However, on the Marine side, the shells on the battleship seemed to be free of money, pouring out crazily. 243 Golden Lion Shiki's proposal. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Depend on. Looking at the cannonballs above his head, even Virgo, who was always calm, couldn't help cursing, damn. With so many cannonballs, he had more energy than he wanted to dodge. Give it to me. Seeing this, Wabel felt that his chance to show his talents in front of the crowd had come. Although he had suffered a loss just now, he was very confident in his strong physique, and it was nothing more than a trivial matter to resist more than 20 shells. Just when Wabel was about to use his powerful physique to resist the shells, suddenly, things took a turn for the better. A gust of wind blew by, and everyone felt very cool. Immediately, the entire pinnacle was supported by the breeze, and flew up directly. Rumble. 20 or so shells fell through the air and fell directly into the sea water. Immediately, a huge water mushroom exploded. Under the impact of the water spray soaring into the sky, Pinnacle moved towards flying sky at a faster speed. This is. Everyone on the pinnacle looked at each other in blank dismay, but they all knew that it was obviously Bai Ye who took action and lifted them up with the boat. Brother Bai Ye, really, since you can take the whole ship into the air, why did you let us stay on the sea just now? Wabel couldn't help complaining. In fact, Bai Ye didn't intend to mobilize the crowd at first, he originally planned to fight with Robin to kill Golden Lion Shiki directly. Advertisement. But I never expected that at this time, the Buster Call fleet came chasing down. There is no way, relying on Wabel and others, it is obvious that Pinnacle cannot be defended, so Bai Ye can only use the dragon-slaying magic of the sky to float Pinnacle. Soon, Pinnacle appeared in the sky above Feikong. What's going on here? It's Bai Ye's fault. But, how did he do it? Could it be? Could it be that he is also a lion fruit-capable person? Seeing this, the pirates of the Flying Pirates were a little confused. Didn't they say that they are the only pirate group that can fly in the air? Why can this ship also fly? Idiot, how could he be a lion fruit ability user? Devil fruit is the only one. There are only devil fruits with similar abilities, it is impossible to have devil fruits with the same ability. 11. In other words, he should have eaten a devil fruit that has a similar ability to lion fruit. Most likely. There was a lot of discussion. The complexion of Golden Lion Shiki changed again. When the ability to fly was no longer his only ability, he finally felt a deep crisis. How the hell did you do it? Golden Lion Shiki couldn't help asking. You can do it, why can't I do it? Naturally, Bai Ye would not answer the other party's question truthfully. Advertisement. HMPH. It's better for young people to be too presumptuous. Therefore, Golden Lion Shiki felt that if he could take advantage of this opportunity and treat Bai Ye as a deal, let him work for him, and the two sides jointly solve the Buster Call fleet below, it would be a huge profit. Seeing Pinnacle flying higher and higher, and soon out of the range of the shells, Vice Admiral was livid with anger, but there was nothing he could do. Vice Admiral roared hoarsely. But now, Pinnacle flew up suddenly, which made Vice Admiral's face extremely ugly, his fists were clenched even more, and his veins bulged. If he doesn't take this opportunity and the two sides join forces, does it mean that he still wants to die with the 5 Buster Call fleets? At least, it must be stronger than Clown Crow and Executioner combined. Below. Dubbed the Old Lion. Again, Golden Lion Shiki nearly blew his lungs. Golden Lion Shiki decided that Bai Ye would definitely accept this suggestion and compromise with him. After all, these 5 Buster Call fleets came to hunt him down. Joining forces with you, Old Lion. Is it tolerable or unbearable? In his impression, only the legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki was able to lift such a huge ship as the Flying Sky into the air, including people and the ship. But on second thought, he thought of something again. Hearing this, Golden Lion Shiki was very dissatisfied. What? Did they come running after this kid? Thinking of this, Golden Lion Shiki no longer hesitated, and said directly, Bai Ye, I have a suggestion. Have you seen the marine fleet below? According to my estimation, there are at least 5 Buster Call fleets. A fleet of this level, it's not something you and I can eliminate alone. Advertisement. Just at the same time, Vice Admiral's voice sounded again from below. Vice Admiral had already noticed the flying sky above his head. Even the Golden Lion Shiki at an altitude of 1,000 meters can hear this roar clearly. Golden Lion Shiki was pissed off by Bai Ye's arrogance. As a legendary big pirate, an old senior, he made suggestions in a good voice, even if he didn't appreciate it, he even called him, Old Lion. Also, how can a Vice Admiral who can be the commander of 5 Buster Call fleets be an ordinary Vice Admiral? Isn't it just 5 Buster Call fleets? Wang Dahao, Bai Ye doesn't pay attention at all, so this suggestion of Golden Lion Shiki is tantamount to nonsense. In desperation, he could only muster his spirits and uttered harsh words. Bai Ye, don't think you can escape like this. If you dare to kill the celestial dragons, you will have to pay the price of death. This roar can be described as resounding through the heavens and the earth. It can be seen that although this Vice Admiral is a Vice Admiral, his strength is at least Admiral level. I have to say that Golden Lion Shiki's calculations were really good, but unfortunately, he was wrong. Hateful. Golden Lion Shiki, you dare to help the evil, you have to think clearly, the world government and the marine will not let you go. Don't think that you can escape for so long, it is your ability, it is only because the world government thinks you are a penis old lion, you can't make any more waves, so you didn't really attack the flying pirates. Bai Ye was happy. Damn it, are Bai Ye and Shiki really united? This way, it will be difficult. So, the old man proposed, why don't you join forces with me? As long as we join hands, 5 Buster Call fleets are nothing. As long as the Buster Call fleet is destroyed, the reputation of you and the old man will be famous all over the world. Have fun instead of doing it. Even the so-called elite vice admiral of Ghost Spider and Huo Shaoshan are probably far behind him in terms of seniority and strength. Bai Ye's strength. Through the fact that Bai Ye casually held up the pinnacle just now, he has already understood that his strength should not be much weaker than him. Regarding this, Golden Lion Shiki just snorted coldly and said, 244 Vice Admiral. Lousy will kill whoever dares to abandon the ship. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Although Golden Lion Shiki is a character of the same era as One Piece Roger and Whitebeard Edward, but his ambition is not dead, it is not bad to admit that he is old. Today's young people, seeing him keep saying, Old Lion, what is going on? Simply rude. However, on second thought, Golden Lion Shiki has another evil plan. Bai Ye, the old man advises you to accept the old man's suggestion, otherwise, you will regret it. Golden Lion Shiki said with a sly face. Oh, really, if I don't cooperate with you to destroy Marine, you will cooperate with Marine to destroy me, right? Bai Ye looked like the roundworm in Golden Lion Shiki's stomach, and he could see through his mind at once. You can try it. Bai Ye continued with a playful face. From Golden Lion Shiki's point of view, Bai Ye's attitude is undoubtedly extremely arrogant. Who is he? He is Golden Lion Shiki. In this world, that pirate saw him. Don't give him any face for this legendary pirate. Even Whitebeard Edward, you have to give him 3 points when you see him. But Bai Ye, it is unbearable to not give him any face at all. Advertisement. Okay. Very good. If that's the case, then the old man will do as you wish. As Golden Lion Shiki said, he suddenly stretched out his hand to lower it, and immediately, 50 warships floated into the air. Golden Lion Shiki is crazy enough to use his Lion Fruit ability to send Marine's battleship flying. On the battleship, Vice Admiral was thinking hard about the countermeasures, how to shoot down the pinnacle and flying sky at an altitude of 1,000 meters. Or, find a way to fly the battleship and annihilate Bai Ye, Golden Lion Shiki and others directly in the air. Suddenly, warships floated into the sky one after another, which surprised him. What's going on here? Others, whether it is the commander of the Buster Call fleet itself or the soldiers, are strictly trained and participate in the operation with the determination to die. It is impossible to abandon the ship and escape. As for us, after Bai Ye and his party are eliminated, you can lead your army to fight against this old man. Whether you can take down this old man depends on your ability. Golden Lion Shiki took this opportunity to stop all the warships in the 100-meter air, and then said, I do this, what do I not want to do? I just want to cooperate with your marine. It's just that he has seen Golden Lion Shiki, but Golden Lion Shiki may not have seen him. After all, at that time, Golden Lion Shiki was already famous, and he was just one of many soldiers, a nobody. Almost everyone has this idea. Under the intimidation of Vice Admiral, no one dared to abandon the ship and escape. That's what Golden Lion Shiki said, but as long as he is not a fool, he knows what he is planning. Advertisement. However, it was stopped in time by Vice Admiral DAAC. Even if it's not the case, it's very possible that this is a trap set by him and Bai Ye, and we'll fall into the trap ourselves. Since he is an enemy, he certainly doesn't mind using the Buster Call fleet to kill Bai Ye. If Bai Ye let Golden Lion Shiki know the true thoughts in his heart, he would definitely think he was crazy. Since we all have the same enemy, why not cooperate? I use the fruit ability to get you and the battleship into the air, and you help the old man to kill Bai Ye and his party in the air. The best of both worlds, why not do it? Quote. Of course, it's not enough to kill Bai Ye with the strategy of eating tigers and wolves. He also plans to kill the Buster Call fleet as well. The method is very simple, as long as he withdraws the fruit ability, let the battleship fall from 1,000 meters high. After all, those who wanted to abandon the ship and escape were the officers who were arranged by the 5 elders to board the battleship. Their main purpose was to monitor this time's demon-slaying operation. After finishing speaking, Golden Lion Shiki did not forget to add a sentence. Bai Ye didn't kill him, because he could see through Golden Lion Shiki's intentions at a glance, but he just crossed his hands in front of his chest, looking like he was watching the show, and didn't intend to stop him at all. Since Bai Ye cannot be won over, then they are enemies. With the tonnage of those battleships in the Buster Call fleet, if they fall from a height of 1,000 meters, the ship and its crew will be smashed to pieces. Golden Lion Shiki, what do you want to do like this? Whoever dares to abandon the ship, Lousy will kill him first. Dealing with the flying pirates and the 5 Buster Call fleets at the same time, even in the heyday of the Roger Pirates, couldn't do it. Bai Ye and the others, there are only a few of them. Advertisement. Besides, the higher the warship flies, the greater the threat to us. If it falls from 1,000-meter altitude, all of us will surely die. Why don't we take advantage of the fact that the range of our cannons can reach Feikong, and Junfeng no, bombard them? Anyway, in Bai Ye's opinion, after he eliminated Golden Lion Shiki, he still had to face the Buster Call fleet after all. Even several officers who were greedy for life and fear of death planned to abandon the ship and jump into the sea to escape. After calming those officers who were greedy for life and fear of death with their aura and avoiding the morale of the army from being shaken, Vice Admiral naturally wanted to discuss an explanation with Golden Lion Shiki. But that's what Bai Ye planned. Neither humble nor overbearing, said sharply. Every time Buster Call is dispatched, there is a clear purpose. The old man has not committed any major crimes that have touched the world government recently, so the purpose of your operation this time is obvious. It is to kill Bai Ye who killed the celestial dragons. Come. Indeed, killing the celestial dragons is the greatest of all sins. He and Golden Lion Shiki are old acquaintances. He was one of the marine soldiers who participated in the capture of Golden Lion Shiki. Could it be that the Golden Lion Shiki was so angry that he planned to lift our warship into the air and then smash it down heavily, smashing us to pieces? Yes, it must be so. On the battleship below, a few military officers were sent to monitor this operation, and naturally they were not all fools. When they heard this, they immediately knew the sinister intentions of Golden Lion Shiki, and immediately said to Vice Admiral in a panic, "Wow. No, this is the conspiracy of Golden Lion Shiki. He intends to use our hands to get rid of Bai Ye, and then get rid of us. He wants to use the Buster Call fleet to help Bai Ye. At that time, he will not only be able to eliminate the threat of Bai Ye, but also wipe out 5 Buster Call fleets at once. Not to play Super One Piece Roger. It's better to let the air pirates cooperate with the Buster Call fleet, and then, he kills them all at once again." The officers and soldiers around him have become a group. 245 Collaboration between the Buster Call fleet and the Flying Pirates. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. That's right, it takes a lot of physical strength to raise 50 warships into the air. As long as we launch a fierce bombardment, the Golden Lion Shiki will be forced to withdraw its ability due to the powerful firepower. Then we can return to the sea safely. However, in the face of these officers' suggestions, Vice Admiral has always been sullen, and he has his own ideas. Do not. Vice Admiral resolutely rejected the officer's suggestion, but raised his head and said loudly to Golden Lion Shiki, "Since our common enemy is Bai Ye, well, lousy promises to cooperate with you." The decision made by Vice Admiral can be said to have frightened all the officers around him. What are you doing, Vice Admiral? Who told you to make a decision on your own? Shut up you guys, Vice Admiral is in command of this operation, not you. HMPH, when we go back, we will definitely report this matter to Master 5 Elders. Then you have to go back alive. Vice Admiral's cronies even quarreled with the officers. In this regard, Vice Admiral did not bother. Lion ha 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 ha. Unexpectedly, there is such a bold Vice Admiral like you in Marine, I like it very much. Seeing the success of the scheme, Golden Lion Shiki was naturally happy and burst out laughing. Advertisement. He couldn't help admiring Vice Admiral, who made a decisive decision. Vice Admiral, although you are the Supreme Commander, don't you think this decision is too reckless? Some officers were dissatisfied and couldn't help asking again. Vice Admiral, who had been ignoring him all this time, spoke up. You know farts. It is true that the battleships of the Buster Call fleet were created to dominate the sea and have no ability to fly. But the fact that a battleship cannot fly into the air does not mean that it cannot withstand the impact of falling from the air. Vice Admiral snorted coldly. That's right. Moreover, these warships are equipped with the most advanced high-tech equipment. Even if they fall from an altitude of 1,000 meters, we still have a way to keep them safe and sound. Vice Admiral's confidant couldn't help but speak. Now, the most important thing is to get rid of the main target of our operation, Bai Ye. Vice Admiral said in a deep voice. The officers who were still panicked calmed down after hearing the words. As the Buster Call fleet reached a deal with Golden Lion Shiki really did what he said, using his Lion Fruit's ability to raise 50 warships to a height of 1,000 meters. A duel in the air, a big war, is about to break out. Suddenly, a lot of pirate ships popped up on the seemingly barren sea. These pirate ships all came upon hearing the news. 5 Buster Calls that make a huge splash wherever they appear. Some pirates who are not afraid of death quietly followed behind them, wanting to find out. 000. Advertisement. Indeed, when the pirates saw the Buster Call fleet, and there were 5 Buster Call fleets, they were naturally terrified, but they couldn't hold back their curiosity. In fact, although the pirates of that little pirate group survived the indiscriminate attack of the Buster Call fleet, they were frightened and stupid, so how could they have the courage to follow up? They are all watching in secret. Now that the battleships of the Buster Call fleet have all flown to an altitude of 1,000 meters, there is no need to observe secretly anymore, so they showed up one after another. And those who know the reason of the matter want to follow up and take a look even more. 5 Buster Call fleets encircled and suppressed Bai Ye, the strongest demon in the new era. They missed this unique opportunity, and it is absolutely impossible to see such a scene again in the future. For these pirates who have been sailing in the sea all their lives, air battles are also very rare. Some people, I am afraid that they have never seen a few air battles in their lives. No matter who it is, seeing the world government dispatching 5 Buster Call fleets at one time with great fanfare, they can't help but be curious, and want to follow the Buster Call fleet to see who it is that makes the world government send out at once. 5 Buster Call fleets encircle and suppress. But there was no way, under Pluton Rayleigh's friendly initiative, they could only follow with a sad face. Wow, that's okay too. 0 for flowers 0. Fortunately, nothing happened. But even so, they still dare not get too close. Is this going to be a fierce air battle like no other in history? Besides, after the world government ruled the world, it has never seen a big battle in 800 years. At this moment, all the pirates were stunned after seeing 50 battleships flying up to 1,000 meters in the air. Besides, the Buster Call fleet seemed to be in a hurry to find their target after conducting an indiscriminate attack at the beginning, and turned a blind eye to the pirate ships they encountered later. Of course, these are all past events. This time, 5 Buster Call fleets surrounded Bai Ye, and he couldn't miss anything. Advertisement. Unless you are in a hurry to reincarnate, only a fool would get too close. The original naval battle was directly upgraded to an air battle. Even if their lives are in danger, if they can see the truth, they think it is worth it. Moreover, this time the air battle, and the battle on Sky Island failed. This is the real big battle. Unexpectedly, the Golden Lion Shiki who appeared suddenly in the middle changed the situation. They thought it would be shocking enough to witness the battle between the Buster Call fleet and Bai Ye, the strongest demon of the new era. On the contrary, because a small pirate group had the guts to follow the Buster Call fleet, many pirate groups couldn't bear to lose face and followed. All the pirates looked at the 1,000-meter-high sky, with disbelief on their faces. This is also the reason why, after the 50 warships of the Buster Call fleet flew up to a 1,000-meter altitude, so many pirate ships suddenly appeared on the originally empty sea. Yes, that's right, he is Pluton Rayleigh who lives in seclusion in the Sabayati archipelago. Therefore, regardless of the blockage of the proprietress Shaki, the proprietress of the Rip-Off Bar, the Rip-Off Bar is also called Shaki's Bar, he boarded a ship of a small pirate group and followed the Buster Call fleet. The Buster Call fleet, the Flying Pirates, Bai Ye and Pinnacle. Wow, isn't this Nima playing too much? This is a 10. Just 5 Buster Call fleets and the Flying Pirates of Golden Lion Shiki are scary enough, and there is also Bai Ye, the strongest demon of the new era, and his partners. Among these pirates who are not afraid of death, there is a very special one. At first, he missed the scene where Bai Ye killed the celestial dragons, and he regretted it unceasingly. This makes the pirates more daring, but even so, the pirates who cherish their lives still dare not get too close. 246 Golden Lion Shiki shot. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. But what they don't know is that the 3 parties are not in a 3-legged situation, and the 3 parties contain each other, but the Buster Call fleet and the Flying Pirates have cooperated to deal with Bai Ye and the others. If they knew this, they would probably be even more shocked. Pluton Rayleigh, looking at this scene, even he who is used to seeing big scenes, couldn't help but be speechless. Unexpectedly, Golden Lion Shiki's sword is still young, and it has such amazing strength. Unlike everyone who was shocked by the 3 forces in the upcoming air battle, Rayleigh was more concerned about the strength of Golden Lion Shiki. It can be seen from the fact that Golden Lion Shiki casually raised 50 warships to an altitude of 1,000 meters, that Golden Lion Shiki's sword is not old. I just don't know how it compares to back then. Back then, his strength was comparable to that of One Piece Roger. Although he really wanted to meet these 577 enemies, in order to avoid unnecessary danger, Rayleigh thought about it and decided to continue to observe secretly among the pirates first. At an altitude of 1,000 meters, an air battle is about to break out. Bai Ye, do you know what crime you have committed? Since you dared to kill the celestial dragons, the nobles of the world, you should have thought of the price. Vice Admiral said to Bai Ye with a sullen face. Hey, it's actually just that the world government wants to find an excuse to get rid of me, why bother to pretend? Bai Ye sneered. Indeed, there are cases in history where celestial dragons were killed by pirates. Have you ever seen a case where the world government issued 5 Buster Calls at once? No, only in the case of Bai Ye killing the celestial dragons, the world government issued 5 Buster Calls at once, and Kailao Jikai personally issued them. It has to be said that 5 elders regarded Bai Ye as a thorn in their side. Advertisement. Anyway, Master Yimu said that he wanted to capture Bai Ye, but he didn't say whether he was going to die or alive. They got rid of Bai Ye and presented his body to Lord Yimu, which was considered to have completed what Lord Yimu told him. HMPH, it doesn't matter what you say, Bai Ye, you are doomed this time. Golden Lion, I hope you don't change your mind, otherwise, Bai Ye's fate will also be your fate. Huh. Vice Admiral said neither humble nor overbearing, and even threatened Golden Lion Shiki. Of course, the butcher changed his mind just as he said. Golden Lion Shiki said so, but he didn't think so in his heart. However, let Vice Admiral be arrogant now, first join hands with the other party to eliminate the threat of Bai Ye, and talk about the rest later. Since this is the case, then quickly drive Bai Ye away from Feikong, otherwise, the Buster Call fleet will carry out indiscriminate bombing, and Feikong will be doomed. Vice Admiral spoke again. Of course, as Golden Lion Shiki said, he stopped watching the show and shot Bai Ye decisively. Whoosh! I saw Golden Lion Shiki jumped up from his throne, and rushed towards Bai Ye at an extremely fast speed. And his 2 feet replaced by famous swords quickly kicked Bai Ye's head. 2 famous swords, 1, Sakura 10, and 1, Cuckoo. Robin reacted very quickly, let out a cold snort, and rushed forward, intending to help Bai Ye resist Golden Lion Shiki's attack. No, Robin, back off. However, Bai Ye stopped Robin just in time. There is a reason why Bai Ye stopped Robin. The seemingly simple kick of Golden Lion Shiki actually contained extremely advanced skills and back-to-basics sword skills. If Bai Ye hadn't been in Kuraigana Island, where he had discussed the sword with Hawkeye, he might have been fooled by this kick. Advertisement. Although Robin is very powerful now, it is obvious that she is no match for Golden Lion Shiki. Hearing this, Robin hesitated for a moment, but obediently retreated. That's right, your opponent is me, Crow the Clown. The iron sword in Bai Ye's hand snapped. Weibo. Ah. What a strong armament hockey. When, on the way, some pirates from the Flying Pirates tried to stop him, but without exception, they were all knocked into the air by him. With a roar, he jumped from pinnacle to flying sky, brandishing Hockey's thorn knife in his hand, and rushed towards Bai Ye and Robin. Weibo raised the knife and dropped it, and turned off the knife once, and sent away countless lives. Even a 1.7 orangutan is more proficient in armament hockey's grasp than him. Stupid, listen up, your opponent is lousy. The executioner raised his arm, and unexpectedly resisted Weibo's thorn knife with his thick arm covered with black hair. Is it stupid? With armament hockey covering his body, he becomes an invulnerable King Kong. Obviously, whether it is Sakura 10 or Muku, they are rare and good swords. Although they are not as good as Hawkeye's black sword, they are not something that ordinary iron swords can resist. Weibo yelled, slaying, stop it, I'll be your opponent. At the same time, after Bai Ye praised Golden Lion Shiki, he didn't sit still, and decisively cast the Iron Dragon Slayer magic, creating an iron sword out of thin air, and collided with Golden Lion Shiki's foot. Advertisement. Moreover, what shocked Virgo the most was that this orangutan not only practiced armament hockey to the point of proficiency, the other 2 kinds of hockey were also very proficient. Finally, the executioner couldn't stand it anymore. At the same time, the voice of Clown Crow sounded again, and he was not dead after being hit hard by Robin. As expected of Golden Lion Shiki's right and left hand. Both Bai Ye and Robin started fighting, and Weibo on the peak couldn't help it. The executioner saw that Weibo did not listen to him at all, and was still killing people, so he couldn't help but doubt Weibo's IQ. Weibo is really a big fool. The huge thorn knife was blocked by someone with his arm, and he was stunned for a long time before he realized it. Fortunately, he had always been proud of his armament hockey before, but now it seems that his armament hockey is actually like that. The orangutan finally couldn't stand it anymore and stood up. Of course, his most powerful is armament hockey. It's just that he has never met a real strong man. Seeing this, Virgo on the peak, who always liked to pretend to be calm, was a little restless at the moment. Sparks fly. Boom. Good swordsmanship. Big brother Bai Ye, Robin big sister, I'm here to help you. 0 inches. Just you, an orangutan, are you qualified to be my opponent? What? With his current physique, it is impossible for the minions of the Flying Pirates to stop him. 247 Bai Ye, Golden Lion Shiki, you are really old. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Weibo obviously did not realize the seriousness of the matter. He completely ignored the orangutan who was not as big as him. What's wrong with the orangutan? Do you look down on the orangutan? Unexpectedly, what was dramatic was that the executioner was instantly irritated by Weibo's mindless words. With a sudden shock, he directly shook the thorn knife in Weibo's hand. Weibo felt a numbness in his arm, and the thorn knife in his hand almost flew out. At this time, no matter how stupid he was, he realized that his opponent was not an ordinary orangutan. Gu la 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 la, not bad, I never thought that you, a gorilla, still have such great strength. That's okay, let me show you my real strength. Papa Whitebeard, the Weibo imitator, let out a heroic laugh, and then he directly cast the blood of the devil. Weibo's volume began to expand. 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters. In just an instant, Weibo's volume expanded 5 times. Now he looks like a monster. And the executioner, who was only 4 meters tall, looked like an ant. Bai Ye, I didn't expect you to be so accomplished in sword art 30. It's a pity, the quality of your iron sword made by magic doesn't look good. After Golden Lion Shiki chopped off the iron sword in Bai Ye's hand with one sword, he was very proud. Yes, Bai Ye didn't refute, but just said jokingly. Coincidentally, the first half of the broken sword fell from the air. When passing the head of Golden Lion Shiki, suddenly. Clang. Advertisement. The broken sword suddenly thrust out countless sharp swords, stabbing towards the head of Golden Lion Shiki. What? Golden Lion Shiki was taken aback. But fortunately, he reacted very quickly, stepped back quickly, and then swept forward with his foot, using the famous sword on his foot, kicked the broken sword away, and escaped the catastrophe. Is this the ability of steel? Don't you only master the 3 abilities of fire, poison and thunder? Golden Lion Shiki was so shocked that he couldn't help asking. Your message is out of date, Golden Lion. Vice Admiral couldn't help but speak. Yes, in fact, Vice Admiral knows quite a lot about Bai Ye. He also knew that Bai Ye had mastered the ability to control airflow. This is probably the reason why Pinnacle was able to fly into the sky. It is precisely because of knowing this that he chooses to believe in the words of Golden Lion Shiki and cooperate with him. Since you know, why are you still standing still? Why don't you help me deal with Bai Ye together? Golden Lion Shiki said angrily. It was just a fight, and there were many dangers, which made Golden Lion Shiki realize that he may still have underestimated Bai Ye's strength. Bai Ye's strength is at least on par with him. Golden Lion, since you are asking for help from others, please keep your tone light. Although Vice Admiral said so, his body was still very honest. He jumped up from the battleship and landed on the flying sky, steadily. Just relying on him alone is enough to prove that he is indeed Admiral's strength. Better together, saves time. Bai Ye said arrogantly. However, neither Golden Lion Shiki nor Vice Admiral were irritated by Bai Ye's arrogant tone. After all, they knew that Bai Ye did have arrogant capital. Advertisement. Golden Lion, be careful, this kid possesses far more abilities than the ones he has shown. According to the speculation of the Marine headquarters, he possesses at least 6 abilities. Fire, thunder, poison, wind, iron, and a kind of super energy system similar to Op Fruit's super strong bone and flesh regeneration ability. Vice Admiral slowly revealed Bai Ye's various abilities. Obviously, Marine classified Bai Ye's dead bone pulse and Demon King's blood into one ability. But this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that Bai Ye has not obtained the bloodline inheritance for a long time, and he rarely has the opportunity to display it. But Vice Admiral actually knew about his 2 bloodlines, which shows that Marine's intelligence ability is still very strong. At least, even the gassed punk Hazard has their eyeliner. Really, it's really scary to be able to master 6 kinds of fruit abilities at the same time. Golden Lion Shiki said so, but he had other plans in his heart. When Golden Lion Shiki became famous, he wasn't even born. With a loud noise, a huge red lotus explosive flame blade fell from the sky. As soon as he lifted his foot, a sharp sword energy slashed towards Bai Ye. In the sky, a huge magic circle quickly formed. Immediately afterwards, a golden flame rose into the sky. He changed his mind, he planned to capture Bai Ye alive. At the same time, Bai Ye wrapped his fist in golden flames, blasting out ahead of the date. However, in the next second, when the attacks of the 2 were about to land on Bai Ye's body at the same time, Bai Ye made a move. Lion Majesty. Earth coiling. Boom. At this moment, Bai Ye even sighed. The complexions of Golden Lion Shiki and Vice Admiral instantly turned pale. Facing the pincer attack of the 2, Bai Ye was not timid at all. Advertisement. As a result, Vice Admiral was a little confused by 447. There is nothing to say about Vice Admiral's strength. As Vice Admiral, even Admiral's strength is already very strong. But, Golden Lion Shiki, you are getting old after all. Does such a powerful move even require a little time to accumulate energy? What is this? Bai Ye seemed to see through the thoughts of Golden Lion Shiki and Vice Admiral. He didn't say anything, just smiled without saying a word. When Golden Lion Shiki heard this, he was angry again. Damn it. He teamed up with Golden Lion Shiki, and only then did he realize that Golden Lion Shiki's strength is definitely not inferior to Whitebeard Edward. Ah, Fire Dragon Slayer Mystery 1. As for Vice Admiral, he was taken aback when he heard Bai Ye's words. Why did Bai Ye say these words? Even the clouds at an altitude of 10,000 meters have been evaporated. Even if it refers to age, is he, a junior, qualified to say it? Yes, almost in the blink of an eye, the magic circle has been completed. Although he had other calculations in mind, Golden Lion Shiki did not show any mercy when he made a move. Why does he say that the legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki is old? He believes that Bai Ye can master 6 kinds of fruit abilities at the same time. There must be some tricks, just ask. Hey, when the time comes, he who has mastered 2 devil fruit abilities, or even 3 devil fruit abilities at the same time, will dominate the world. He was feeling in his heart that the Golden Lion Shiki is not old yet, but Bai Ye suddenly said this. Red Lotus Explosive Flame Blade. The golden flame burns everything. At the same time, Vice Admiral also used the kicking skills in Marine 6 styles, and cooperated with Golden Lion Shiki to attack Bai Ye together. 248 Golden Lion Shiki was wiped out just like that. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. How on earth did he do it? Golden Lion Shiki was completely taken aback. As far as he knew, the more powerful the move, the longer it takes to accumulate energy, but Bai Ye seemed to have completely broken this rule, and in an instant, he displayed such a powerful moves. The answer is very simple, that is, Bai Ye's strength is already so strong that he can completely display the Dragon Slayer Profound technique in an instant. Even the magic circle that needs to be completed before casting the Dragon Slayer Profound art can be completed in an instant. Of course, it is impossible for Bai Ye to tell Golden Lion Shiki. Facing the huge Red Lotus Explosive Flame Blade falling head on, at this moment, Golden Lion Shiki only had one thought in his heart. That's it. It's over. As for Vice Admiral, it seemed that he finally understood why Bai Ye said that Golden Lion Shiki was old. Because, Bai Ye's strength is much stronger than Golden Lion. Boom. Golden Lion Shiki and Vice Admiral didn't even have time to resist, and with a loud noise, both of them were engulfed by golden flames at the same time. Wow. The pirates below were in an uproar. Is this true? They saw a huge red lotus explosive flame blade falling from the sky, instantly engulfing Golden Lion Shiki and Vice Admiral, and Flying Sky was also pierced through a huge hole by the red lotus explosive flame blade in an instant. At the entrance of the cave, a raging golden flame is still burning. The shock that this scene brought to people can be imagined. When the red lotus explosive flame blade that fell from the sky engulfed Golden Lion Shiki and Vice Admiral, the shock and heat wave it emitted, even the sea surface 1,000 meters below, was blown and rolled, and even boiled. Advertisement. It can be seen how powerful this red lotus explosive flame blade is. And this is nothing. What shocked everyone the most was that this was the once world-famous legendary great pirate Golden Lion Shiki, and he was killed by Bai Ye's punch like this. Even if everyone saw it with their own eyes, they would never believe it. You don't have to believe it. At this moment, the golden flames still burning in the sky are the best proof. Isn't it? It's been a long time since we saw each other, a year. He has grown to such a degree. And Rayleigh, who was originally focused on his old friend, Golden Lion Shiki, was completely shocked by Bai Ye's display of strength. He remembered that a year ago, when he was watching Bai Ye making a big fuss in the summit war in front of the TV, his strength was not that strong, nor did he master such terrifying moves. Before this move was launched, what was that huge pattern in the sky? Did it provide energy for this move? Ginger is old and spicy. As expected of Rayleigh could tell at a glance that the key to Bai Ye's dragon-slaying profound art lay in the huge, fleeting magic circle above his head. In this regard, he actually came up with a way to deal with this trick. That is to break the magic circle before the magic circle is completed. That way, it is estimated that Bai Ye can be prevented from performing this trick. Of course, Rayleigh is just speculating. After all, he is not sure if it is feasible without practice. What's more, the magic circle was completed too quickly, and he wasn't even sure if he could destroy it in time before the magic circle was completed. Sky. The executioner and the seriously wounded clown who was still stubbornly resisting the clown crow were also stunned by this scene. Seeing their captain Golden Lion Shiki being engulfed by the red lotus explosive flame blade, it took them a while to react. Boss. Captain. Advertisement. Clown Crow and the executioner cried out almost in unison. You dare to be distracted when you fight against me. Wable said stupidly, and then, he punched the executioner down. However, the fist did not penetrate open black lens bracket Flying Sky close black lens bracket, but was forcibly hugged by the executioner with open arms, and stopped. Wable never expected that the power of his punch made him feel scared, and he was stopped by an orangutan that was not as big as his fist. Next second. Whoosh. What? He was still paying attention to the burning golden flame in front of him. The body of King Kong. Of course it is impossible, but this scene is very similar to Goku who transformed into an orangutan and turned into a Super Saiyan. Throwing knives all shot at Robin. Wable's huge fist was crushed by him. Bai Ye on board open black lens bracket Fakong close black lens bracket. The other side. Immediately afterwards, the hairs on his body stood on end, and all the black hairs suddenly turned golden in an instant. Although he didn't look back at Pinnacle relying on the effect of God's perspective brought by the Dragon Slayer magic in the sky, he was still very clear that Virgo, Monet and Granos were in a bitter battle. But even so, Bai Ye remained indifferent. Is this a Super Saiyan transformation? Advertisement. Still on the other side. Fool, do you think that being big means being strong? Let Lousy tell you what is the strongest body. A wave of air even erupted from his body, forming a ball of air to wrap around him. This simply made him feel unbelievable. After these series of changes, the strength of the executioner has been greatly improved. The throwing knife is aimed at Robin, blocking any possible escape directions for her. Bai Ye, Robin, and Wable are too strong, and they will be given away for nothing, but they are still confident. With the advantage of numbers, they can easily take down Virgo and Monet who are guarding the Peak Sisters. The pirates of the Flying Pirates and the Marine soldiers are not stupid, they know that as long as they take down the Zenfeng Getjiao they will definitely be able to contain Bai Ye to some extent. There was a muffled sound, and Wable's huge fist blasted a big hole into the deck of open black lens bracket Flying Space close black lens bracket. Snap. On the other side of Peak, Virgo and the Monet sisters also fought fiercely with the enemy. 9 huge throwing knives suddenly appeared out of nowhere around Robin, who was sensing the aura of the clown that disappeared out of thin air. The veins in his arms were exposed, and immediately after, he exerted a sudden force. Indeed, soon, Virgo and the others fell into a bitter battle. Fortunately, Virgo and Monet still have some strength. The pirates and marines of the Flying Pirates, relying on their large numbers, will not be able to take them down for a while. Unlike the previous small throwing knives, these 9 throwing knives are not only the size of Robin, but also covered with a thick layer of energy. Boom. The executioner said, looking at the sky with his eyes, and let out a roar. This group is the real self-flying million. At this moment, even Wable's fist is several times bigger than the executioner's entire body. 249 Fierce Battle. Bai Ye vs Golden Lion Shiki. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Flying sky and the battleship did not fall. What this means is already obvious. It means that although the Red Lotus explosive flame blade engulfed Golden Lion Shiki, it didn't defeat him. Golden Lion Shiki, don't hide anymore. I know you can't be killed so easily. Come out. Bai Ye said lightly. As soon as this remark came out, the people at the scene were in a commotion again. What? The Golden Lion Shiki is not dead. Impossible. The Red Lotus explosive flame blade is so powerful. However, as soon as Bai Ye's words fell, a vicissitudes and heroic voice sounded from the sea of fire. Ha, ha ha, as expected of you, Bai Ye. It was the voice of Golden Lion Shiki. Captain. Boss. The pirates of the Flying Pirates were delighted when they heard this. They knew that their captain, the legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki, could not be killed so easily. What? On the contrary, Rayleigh was a little surprised that Golden Lion Shiki was still alive, but felt it was reasonable. He was just curious about how Golden Lion Shiki survived the terrifying power of the Red Lotus explosive flame blade. Swish. A blade of sword energy slashed out horizontally, directly cutting open the blazing golden flame 540. Golden Lion Shiki, and the figure of Vice Admiral, appeared in front of everyone again. Seeing Golden Lion Shiki and Vice Admiral, surrounded by countless golden flames, some golden flames are even compressed and deformed, showing signs of liquefaction. Advertisement. Others may still be confused about how Golden Lion Shiki survived the terror of the Red Lotus explosive flame blade. Rayleigh already has a clue. Golden Lion Shiki didn't evade or resist at all, he just used Lion Fruit's ability to force the golden flames falling on him and Vice Admiral to float up. The power of the Red Lotus explosive flame blade is indeed terrifying, but it is the golden flame that can really cause harm to people. As long as the golden flames can't get close, the power of the Red Lotus explosive flame blade will naturally be greatly reduced. Moreover, flames, even golden flames, are clearer than air after all. This allows Golden Lion Shiki's Lion Fruit ability to be brought into full play. If it was cut by a sword, Golden Lion Shiki might not be able to make it float, but if it was attacked by countless flames, wouldn't he be able to make them float? He is the legendary great pirate Golden Lion Shiki. Throughout the history of pirates, there are several pirates called legends. It was by virtue of Lion Fruit's ability that Golden Lion Shiki perfectly avoided the main damage of the Red Lotus explosive flame blade, at most he was only burned by the high temperature. But for people with their strength, this little burn is nothing. Vice Admiral, you owe this old man your life. After coming out of the flames, the first sentence Golden Lion Shiki spoke was this. Humph. Regarding this, Vice Admiral just gave him a cold snort, letting him experience it for himself. While he has just finished performing his ultimate move and his physical strength has not fully recovered, hurry up and join hands to eliminate him. Vice Admiral is not an ordinary person either, he could tell at a glance that the use of the dragon-slaying profound technique must have brought a lot of consumption to Bai Ye. Correct. Shiki the Golden Lion readily agrees. In the next second, the two of them flicked the golden flames burning on their bodies, one left and one right, and attacked Bai Ye again. It's hard to imagine that two people who have never met before can cooperate so tacitly. Perhaps, this is the strong one. Advertisement. Just in time. Seeing this, Bai Ye became even more excited. It just so happens that they can be used together to quickly improve the proficiency of Iron Dragon Slayer magic. Iron Dragon Slayer magic. Roar of the Iron Dragon. Iron Dragon Slayer magic. Steel Fist of Iron Dragon. Bai Ye first used an Iron Dragon's roar to force back the Golden Lion Shiki who was attacking from the right, and then blasted towards Vice Admiral who was attacking from the left with an Iron Fist. Although Vice Admiral's strength is not as good as Golden Lion Shiki's, he is not a vegetarian either. Seeing this, instead of dodging Dave, he planned to confront Bai Ye head-on. 6 Styles Max Round 6. King. Gun. Accompanied by a roar from Vice Admiral, he threw out both fists at the same time. Golden Lion Shiki's attainments in Kendo may not have reached the level of Eagle Eyes, but he can still tell at a glance that Bai Ye's seemingly simplest sword actually contains the truth of Kendo. However, when the sword energy approached, his face became uneasy. With a scream, Vice Admiral spat out blood, flying past Golden Lion Shiki like a cannonball. This is Dracul Mahawk's swordsmanship, Golden Lion Shiki said with difficulty, clutching the wound on his chest. No, this is the way of the sword. It can be seen that how powerful the 6 styles displayed by Vice Admiral is, it is not comparable to Lu Chi and others. But, some pirates and marine soldiers who were not strong enough were directly blown away by the punch. It was just the first head-on confrontation with Bai Ye, and this idea came to Vice Admiral's mind. LB. Too big. The gap in strength between him and Bai Ye is too big. He kicked towards Bai Ye, Sakura's sharp sword energy cut through the air, and slashed towards Bai Ye. Vice Admiral looked at Bai Ye in disbelief, his fists, shattered bones, and even pierced the skin, pierced out. Advertisement. This sun, I really can't keep it. The huge shock wave even completely extinguished the golden flame. Crack. Golden Lion Shiki praised Bai Ye, showing that he is very magnanimous. Golden Lion Shiki once again firmly believed in his own ideas. Bai Ye has such a strong strength now. If he is given a few more years to develop, is it okay? The black bird pierced through Golden Lion Shiki's body, and the sword energy left a huge wound on his body. Good swordsmanship. Pulling out the iron sword out of thin air, this scene is simply not too handsome. Even Granu, who always disliked Bai Ye, was dumbfounded at the moment. Whoosh. One knife evil port bird. What Bai Ye used was the most basic move of Yidao style, but Shiki, the Golden Lion, wanted to avoid it but couldn't. Wow. When seeing this, Golden Lion Shiki naturally couldn't be nice, and after slamming Vice Admiral, he plundered towards Bai Ye again. In a trance, he seemed to have an angry roaring steel dragon behind Bai Ye. Countless female pirates at the scene couldn't help screaming, their hearts moved secretly. This kind of monster. How could it be possible to defeat it? Vice Admiral's fists collided with Bai Ye's steel fist. Bai Ye pulled out an iron sword from the air out of thin air, shattered the sword energy, and in turn slashed at Golden Lion Shiki with a sword. The sound of bones breaking. No. Impossible. Useless guy. 250 The Mystery of Iron Dragon Slayer Karma Iron Excalibur. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. There's just one thing that Golden Lion Shiki didn't understand, that is, Bai Ye's strength is much stronger than him. The reason why he didn't give him a second as soon as he came up was because Bai Ye wanted to use him to practice his hands and quickly improve his proficiency in Iron Dragon Slayer magic. Lion Majesty. Earth Coiling. Although it is the same move, but this time, Golden Lion Shiki is not using swordsmanship, but the ability to control lion fruit, combining the ship planks and wood chips that Flying Sky broke due to the battle, forming multiple in the shape of a lion's head, it swooped towards Bai Ye. Oh, that's it. Bai Ye sneered disdainfully, and then slammed out an iron fist. Boom. Countless lion heads instantly turned into powder. Of course, this is just the beginning. Slash wave. Lion Majesty. Probably wanting to get rid of Bai Ye as soon as possible, Golden Lion Shiki crazily launched an attack on Bai Ye. However, his moves seemed to be seen through by Bai Ye, and Bai Ye easily deciphered his moves. On the contrary, it is Golden Lion Shiki, if he is not careful, he will fall in love with Bai Ye's iron fist or slash. In just a few minutes, the originally proud Golden Lion Shiki was covered in bruises and turned into a wounded old lion. Golden Lion Shiki, you are really old. Even Rayleigh couldn't help but gasp when he saw this. Perhaps Golden Lion Shiki's strength, compared to before, has not actually regressed. But time is not forgiving, he is old when he is old, this is an unchangeable fact. In comparison, Bai Ye crushed Golden Lion Shiki no matter in terms of physical strength, physical fitness, or even strength. It's a pity that Golden Lion Shiki, a fan of the authorities, didn't realize this. Advertisement. He also always believed that Bai Ye was equal to him in strength, and he had the advantage in terms of combat experience, so it was only a matter of time before Bai Ye was defeated. Jingle. Snapped. Boom. The battle continues. Unexpectedly, in other words, Golden Lion Shiki is worthy of being a legendary pirate. After being seriously injured, he fought more and more fiercely, and gradually recovered his Golden Lion's demeanor. At this moment, he seems to be a king with great ambition and immortality. Every punch, every kick is full of the strength and dignity of a Lion King. Is this the Golden Lion Shiki? This is the legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki. Seeing this, the pirates below were amazed. Not to mention all the young pirates, at least some of the young pirates below, the reason why they become pirates is actually following in the footsteps of Golden Lion Shiki and embarking on the road of pirates. One Piece Roger, Golden Lion Shiki, Whitebeard Edward, and of course Rocks, these legendary pirates have influenced many people. It is not an exaggeration to say that it has led several eras and influenced several generations. Therefore, when many pirates saw Golden Lion Shiki, the lion's heart never dies, they shine brilliantly, and their blood boils. This is the legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki, the footsteps I have been following. The demon Bai Ye is indeed strong, but he messed with Golden Lion Shiki, this is the biggest mistake he made. That's right. No matter how strong Bai Ye is, he is still too young after all, how can he be the opponent of Golden Lion Shiki? There was a lot of discussion. However, Bai Ye did not agree with this. Advertisement. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, his purpose is to use the hands of Golden Lion Shiki to quickly improve his own strength. The more powerful the Golden Lion Shiki shows, the more in line with his expectations, isn't it? Jingle. Boom. Boom. The fierce battle has been going on. It can be seen that Golden Lion Shiki really made a move this time. At this moment, Iron Dragon Slayer's magic proficiency, which had not changed much, finally changed. Golden Lion Shiki let out a roar, and the two swords on both feet slashed at Bai Ye at the same time. Those pirates are unlucky. Occasionally, they step on the air, or just happen to have a big hole under their feet, and they can only watch themselves fall from the sky. Iron Dragon Slayer magic. Before the sword touched Bai Ye's body, Two sharp intersecting sword chi had already landed on the surface of the sea. Immediately, the boiling sea water of the pirate was directly cut by the sword chi to create a huge crossing mark. Immediately, the originally unpretentious iron sword in his hand underwent a qualitative change. Point 0. Although Golden Lion Shiki usually promises them all kinds of benefits to follow him, but when the real thing is about to happen, he will not bother to save these people. After battling with Golden Lion Shiki for an hour, Bai Ye finally raised his proficiency in Iron Dragon Slayer magic from 85 to 90, which also means that his mastery of Iron Dragon Slayer magic has reached the pinnacle of perfection. Bai Ye, accept the offer. He is now focused on killing Bai Ye. Iron Dragon Slayer magic, proficiency 90. The sound of iron swords clashing. Advertisement. Bai Ye called out the name of the move word by word. These pirates, to Golden Lion Shiki, are subordinates at best, and minions at worst. The iron sword exploded with brilliance, turned into a giant sword, and crushed heavily towards Sakura Ten and Muku of Golden Lion Shiki. Seeing this, Bai Ye was not careless, cast the Iron Dragon Slayer magic, instantly condensed an iron sword in his hand, and faced Sakura Ten and Muku of Golden Lion Shiki. Perhaps, the essence of the iron sword has not changed, but the thick magical energy covering it makes it indestructible and indestructible. Yes. Seeing this, Golden Lion Shiki said loudly. A sinister smile appeared on the faces of Golden Lion Shiki and Bai Ye at the same time. Of course, Flying Sky is blessed with the lion fruit ability of Golden Lion Shiki. Even if it becomes debris, it can still float at an altitude of 1,000 meters. Bai Ye and Golden Lion Shiki fought like a raging fire, and almost every time they fought, they would cause huge damage to open black lens bracket Fakong close black lens bracket, and it didn't take long for open black lens bracket Fakong close black lens bracket to become shattered and riddled with holes. 0 for flowers. In the next second, sparks appeared everywhere. It's useless, an ordinary iron sword will be chopped to pieces no matter how many times it is used. Dragon Slayer Profound Truth Karma Iron Excalibur. Seeing that Tian, Sakura and Muku were about to collide and meet the fate of being crushed again, even at this moment, Bai Ye was still distracted. Now, the iron sword in Bai Ye's hand is no longer an ordinary iron sword, but an iron sword that is comparable to the supreme sharp knife and black knife. In front of him is an illusory data panel that only he can see. Double Swordsmanship Lion Maniac. However, Bai Ye obviously laughed earlier. When Bai Ye heard this, a smile appeared on his face.